Hey everyone, what's going on? Welcome to Z Talks episode 75. I'm hoping you guys can hear me okay. Let me know in the comment section below if you're watching live if you can. Hopefully, I've got this all set up. But anyway, welcome everyone. Thank you so much for tuning in, whether you're watching live or after the fact. I really appreciate it. And yes, we're here just to hang out, chat, chill, and hey, maybe we might get some guests on in the meantime. Now, speaking of guests, if you are wanting to join the show tonight, feel free, drop me a message on either Facebook or Instagram. I will send you over the link and get you on to the live stream. If you're watching after the fact, you'll find out, I guess, if some guests are going to join me. So, yeah, I've been wanting to get back into the swing of Z Talks and live streams in general. And with that, sometimes I like to have these kind of pre-prepped and pre-planned. And then sometimes I like to just turn on the camera and just say hello. And I guess in this instance, I kind of gave like a 20 minutes or so heads up to say, hey, I'm going to go live. And that was kind of about it, really. So, yeah, with that said, we're live. We're kicking things off on a Sunday. It is 7:32 in the evening here in the UK, and I'm kind of just chilling. Had a day where I went to the gym this morning, then I kind of like ran around in the car a little bit in terms of going to a few different places. Then I got back home, had a little bit of food with Emma, and now I am just going to chill for the night. Probably watch a movie later on, but that is later, not right now on Z Talks episode 75. So, yes, if you're watching live, feel free to leave a comment just to even say hello. Please give the stream a big thumbs up as well, guys. I really appreciate if you do. It helps the channel, it helps tell YouTube, hey, I like this guy's content. Hey, I came across this live stream, and it helps YouTube to push me out there to random people. Yeah, so really appreciate anyone stopping by. And just very quickly, while we're waiting for some chats to come in, I'm just going to quickly just refresh my glasses. Oh, got a cat animation 7280 saying hi. Well, hello, hey, hope you're doing well. I think you're brand new here, so welcome to the channel if you are. Thank you so much for tuning in. Appreciate it, and I appreciate anyone stopping by. Um, so yes, in terms of content coming up, guys, very quickly, just to quickly touch on that and a kind of a quick refresh, really. Yeah, so I tonight film of choice is probably going to be um The Devil Wears Prada. I've never seen it, so I think I'm going to watch that, and then I'm going to drop a review for that as well, because the lead up for the sequel coming on Friday at the time of this stream, like what, 5 days time. So yeah, I think that's going to be the plan. And then I think apart from that, in terms of long form content, I think I'm probably going to give it a break till the weekend. I think just to let people catch up on my long form videos. Appreciate I've put a few out recently. Maybe not everyone's had a chance to check those out. If you haven't, I've dropped videos for Michael, the Michael Jackson biopic, the One OK Rock live in concert event cinema performance. I dropped that as well. Apex, which just dropped on Netflix, starring Charlize Theron and Taron Egerton. So I've dropped that review as well. So that's at least 3 videos right there for people to catch up on if you haven't seen those at this moment in time. So yeah, definitely plenty of content to keep you folks busy too. Um, Besides that, I think live streams coming up as well. I do plan to actually build some Lego sets on live streams very shortly. I've got a few behind me just over here. I've got like a few like Marvel, like Spider-Man ones specifically, so they will be getting built and then displayed. I don't know if you guys can see it. It's this one right here, like looks like the reflection. It's that one there. That's going to be like the little Marvel shelf. So yes, that Lego will be getting built and then put into there as well. The movie room's coming together very slowly but surely, and it is it's coming together. You know, I'm really happy with it. It's taken a little bit of time, but listen, at the end of the day, things take time. Unfortunately, everything doesn't happen overnight, and sometimes that is necessarily not a bad thing nor a good thing. So, yes, if you're watching live, feel free also to share this out to anyone and let people know that, hey, I'm live. If they want to come join and hang out and chill, you can. Again, if you want to join me on the live stream, just drop me a quick message on Instagram or Facebook. I'll send you the link. Let's get you on. Let's just have a casual chat, guys. This is just a casual stream. And we've got a legend in the house. Beer plus pizza equals Z chat with Patrick. Yes. Hey, Patrick from Have Cheetah Will View. I hope you're doing well, my friend. Thank you so much for stopping by. I really do appreciate it. And of course, Patrick from the States. So, what, Patrick, is it like 2 p.m. your time? Maybe a little bit before then? I mean, I know like some states is like 5 hour time difference, right? Not sure about yourself though. It might be a little bit different. Maybe five, maybe even a little bit more. Not really too sure. But anyway, Patrick, welcome. Thank you so much for stopping by, my friend. I really do appreciate it. So, um, I haven't been to the cinema this weekend actually. I was debating going to the cinema, but I ended up not going because the choices of movies really at the minute is the Super Mario Galaxy Brothers movie or the Super Mario Galaxy movie or whatever it's called. I will get to that, but because it's popular, it's not going to go off anytime soon. So I will check that out at some point. And then besides that, the other movie that's currently out at cinemas right now that I want to see is called Mother Mary, starring Anne Hathaway. The only problem is with that movie, like my cinema that is showing that is doing one showing a day at 8:30 at night. A little bit too late, unfortunately, by the time I finish work and could get over to the cinema and stuff like that. So I'm not sure if I'll be able to catch that one on the big screen. I would like to, but whether I do or not, I really don't know. I really don't know. But we'll wait and see. Either way, I'll if not, I'll catch it when it comes to streaming eventually. It'll probably not be long, to be honest. Like movies nowadays go on streaming like straight away. So it it doesn't really take too long, to be honest with you. Patrick saying that he shared out. Hey, Patrick, thanks, man. I appreciate that and means a lot as well. You know, if anyone is brand new to the channel or just wants to have like kind of like a movie chat or just a hangout chat, whatever the case should be, the more welcome to. And it's 2:38 p.m. Yeah, so okay, so you guys are 5 hours behind UK time. Apologies if I could get my wording out there. Okay, that's cool. That's cool. It's nice to know that you guys are same kind of time zone as Florida. At least Florida, like I know that time zone. But yes, again, got a few extra viewers now. So hey, welcome viewers. Thank you so much. You've got Terrence at World's Finest Team Up. Hey Terrence, what's going on, man? Hope you're doing well. If you're watching live, guys, all I'm going to say is welcome to the channel. Thank you for joining by. Please hit the like button. It helps tell YouTube I like this stream, I like this content. Maybe I like this creator, or hey, I don't know. It just it helps small channels like mine. Also, if you're watching live, drop a comment, come say hello, ask a question, whatever you may like. Terrence does say that the Michael Jackson movie, for anyone who doesn't know, just hit 217 million worldwide, and I called it. You did actually, yeah. I remember you saying this actually. But that's an incredible feat. That's genuinely amazing. And you know, the great thing about this, right? Whether you like the guy or whether you didn't, right, and whether you choose to see this movie or whether you don't, the fact what I love most about this fact right here is that it brings people to the cinema. It's bringing people out the house to go to the movie theaters to get a seat, maybe get some popcorn, nachos, a hot dog, pizza, sweets, candy, you guys call it in America, whatever the case should be. And it gets people in the movie theaters, which helps to support the movie theaters because we all know that it takes a movie like this or like the Mario Galaxy movie to get people to come out, or like Inside Out 2 or Zootropolis 2 or Zootopia, wherever you're from. And that's one thing I love. I always love supporting the big screen experience. You can't beat the big screen experience. And this is just generally really made me happy to see the fact that it's just made a lot of money and it's got people to come out to see it. So that's great. That's honestly truly terrific. Thank you, Terence. I generally did not know how much money it had taken, but I saw it the other day. I dropped the review. If you haven't seen it, it's on the channel right now. And we got Jason, the Old Millennial, a great friend of mine. Hey, Jason, what's going on? The GOAT. Don't know about that, my friend, but thank you for the kind words. I really appreciate it. And Jason's a legend as well. If you guys aren't subscribed to my to the viewers who's just popped in, who are friends like Terence, Patrick, and Jason, guys, go subscribe to one another. Go show each other some love as well. Terence says, I told the humans the movie was going to stack up that money. I predicted it would hit 1 billion and that the fans are not going to allow the media to demoralize. Michael Sally MJ went through a lot. It did, yeah. I'm not going to touch on too much about MJ's personal life because I'm going to be honest, I don't know the full story. I don't know everything that's out there. Some of it I've been really oblivious to, possibly, and some of it just through choice. I just didn't want to do that. Then the day I've separated the art from the artist. Is music. No one can take that away from him at all. He's easily one of the biggest people in the world. I think he always will be. But yes, 100 billion, sorry, 1 billion. I think it's pretty easy. It's going to hit a billion at this rate. So I wouldn't be surprised. It's a movie you snuggles. It's a movie you smuggle snacks into the theater. Yeah, Patrick, absolutely. At the end of the day, right? I appreciate, seeing people go to the theaters itself, right, is amazing. However, sometimes people can't afford those snacks, which, listen, everyone's on a budget, right? So the fact if you have to just bring them in from home, or you go to like a store nearby and it's way cheaper and bring it in. Listen, at least you've paid a ticket to go see the movie, any movie for that matter. So yeah, Patrick, I'm with you. I'm with you. Z fact. Been saying that for over 12 years that you can't beat the movie theater experience. Yeah, Terrence, absolutely, my friend. Absolutely. You can't. There's no experience that is equal to that. But also, it's one of those experiences, at least for me, I can only speak about my experience of the cinema. So we call it the cinema, you guys call it the movie theater. Um, the fact that I still remember as a kid going to the cinema. I still remember all those trips with my parents, with my friends, if I went on like a date, like trips with my now wife Emma, or like when we first started dating and stuff like that. And when my friends from America came over, like Anthony Perez, the movie man, Ryan from Real Talk with Ryan, you know, and even having some experiences with Adam from What the Gym as well. Like those are experiences you can't take away. You're not going to get that same experience and be able to talk about that when you're older. Just watching a movie on streaming, it's just not the same. Z, I've been a fan since I was a kid. I'm not gonna entertain lies, but MJ is a legend, and I'm happy you see so many loving the movie. It does feel like this. How great, Michael. Yes, I think Terence. I think that's a great way you've put it. In terms of this movie, Michael is a celebration of Michael Jackson. You're not going to get the controversy. You're not going to get the accusations. You're not going to get that side of the personal life. You're going to get a little bit of that, absolutely, but you're going to get the celebration of Michael and his music. That's exactly what the movie is. Perfectly put. Ryan, the legend. He is indeed. He is indeed. He might be watching this live or after the fact. So if you are, what's going on, Ryan? Yeah, love Ryan. He's such a great guy. But yeah, guys, if you're watching live like Patrick, feel free to share the stream out. It shares it onto your YouTube or your community post page. Just lets people know, hey, I'm live. Maybe I can gain a bit of more of an audience. Who knows? Um, my big goal on YouTube right now, if I haven't mentioned this before, or maybe people maybe aren't aware, and maybe you're new here, my goal is to hit 100,000 subscribers. I know it's a big ask, absolutely, but in that, at the same time, I would love to get that YouTube plaque and pop it on the wall. That would be an incredible achievement. And that for me, this might sound a little bit silly to you guys, but that to me will make me kind of feel like I've made somewhat of a name for myself on YouTube at that point. Maybe a little bit daft, I know, but just a personal goal. I have. So I'm sure we'll get there one day, but the quicker, the better, Um, and who knows? Who knows? But I'm grateful for the success that the channel's had so far. For you guys watching one review of mine, all reviews, popping in on a short here or there, whatever the case should be. I generally really appreciate it. And then Terrence is saying, Z, I've already seen Michael 4 times. Wow, okay, it's only just come out. Okay. With different groups of friends for the Wednesday fan screening, rerolled 12 Deep to the Fade. I've never seen Pac Vader dancing and clapping. Wow, okay. Well, Terrence, that's amazing that you and then he said most of the time snapping the fingers. Yeah, it turns out that's amazing, man, that you've been to see the movie 4 times. Goes to show obviously how much you love it. But also it's great that you're out supporting the movie theater and some friends and stuff as well. And maybe those friends don't go very often. So clearly it goes to show that this movie is working for a lot of people. I definitely had my toes tapping through the music. I mean, how can you not, Hit the like button. Absolutely, Patrick. Thank you so much, my friend. If you're watching live after the fact, hit the like button. It's completely free. Literally takes you 1 second of your life. And it helps me a lot as well. It helps the channel. Jason says, I know this movie was supposed to come out last year for the award season. It makes me think that they didn't think it was going to be the Oscar juggernaut they were hoping it was going to be. You know, Jason, I don't know actually. I think that's an interesting comment, firstly, my friend. So thank you for bringing that up. I think to an extent there was a lot of big movies last year, and I'm not trying to discount big movies this year because there's plenty still to come. I don't know if maybe they're doing like some post editing. I don't know if they were maybe doing some like like reshoots. That's the word I was looking for. Maybe some reshoots on the movie before bringing it out, because I know they were very meticulous, especially shooting a lot of the choreography scenes. Even just get like the little ounce of movement of Michael Jackson's like to a T. I've heard like they were that very stringent on the shooting. So I don't know. I don't know. But listen, I wouldn't be surprised if it gets nominated next year. Do I think it will win? Probably not, unfortunately. I think it definitely deserves it for like sound, obviously, like Michael Jackson. Javar Jackson is incredible in the movie. Like so good. Um so yeah, think there's going to be a lot to say. Terrence saying is Z, congrats on the success. Well, hey, thanks, Terrence, man. I appreciate that. And congrats to you, my friend. You always make some like quick, whippy, kind of snappy videos and easy watches as well, my friend. I enjoy your content. And I got Legend TG. Hey, TG, what's going on, man? He says, howdy, Z. Yeah, hey, my friend. I hope you're doing good. Thank you for tuning in and stopping by. I appreciate it. And Patrick saying, I'm hooked by Inspector Lewis right now. What a great series. I mean, Patrick, you got 8 seasons to work through, my friend. You got plenty to keep you going. But it's awesome to hear that you found a new series that you seem to be enjoying. That's really cool. And yeah, I think it's always great when you find a new show or a new movie or a new video game that you find yourself engrossed in, and you're like, wow, maybe how did I not hear about this before, or why did I not get onto this before now, right? Like there's always that moment, So that's honestly awesome stuff to hear. Um, I'll tell you guys what I've actually been watching recently at the time of this. Um, that brand new Netflix documentary about Hulk Hogan. Um, what's it called? Is it like Hulk Hogan, Real American, or something like that? Anyway, me and Emma started watching that last night. We got about 2 or 3 episodes into it, and then we weren't able to watch the rest of it probably until tomorrow night. So I'm excited to finish that and see how that concludes and see what kind of they touch on, because they start to touch a little bit of the controversies, and that's what I like to kind of see, and you know like a bit more of a human side of Hulk Hogan. So yeah, definitely intrigued to see where that goes. Um, Terrence says Javar Jackson should definitely be in the conversation for best actor. Yeah, it was terrific because he was a first-time actor, but he spent 2 years studying the role before they even started shooting. Yeah, I know he put his ankle. Some might say, shout out to Rashad G. He put his ankle into that performance. Like he is so good. Like you couldn't not tell it was Michael Jackson. Like to me, I felt like I was watching Michael Jackson, like he was alive still. Like that's how good his nephew was. And again, for a first-time actor, I think he was excellent. Yeah, I really hope he gets a nomination. If he doesn't win, at least a nomination. He absolutely deserves it. Yo, the legend is here. Anthony A. Perez, what's going on, brother? I hope you're doing well, man. He said, "What's up, Mike? In the middle of editing my review roundup for Extraction, but so you were live, so to come show some love." Hey, appreciate that, bro. Really, really do. Thanks for stopping by, and hope the editing goes well on the Extraction roundup. I haven't seen those movies. I mean, no surprise, right? But no, I've never seen them. I like Hemsworth. Not to say that I'm not against watching them, to be honest with you, but they just haven't fully appealed to me. So I'm sure I'll get around to it though. But yeah, bro, I'm looking forward to hearing your thoughts. I think I saw on Letterboxd you preferred the second and the first, so that's cool to hear. Um, TG says checked out The Blackening last night and gave it 3.5 stars out of 5 on Letterboxd. Yeah, I don't know if I gave it 3.5 or a 3 out of 5. I can't remember, but yeah, I checked that out. I mean, Emma watched that, and we both really enjoyed it. Yeah, the comedy was really good in that. Um, and it was a really entertaining movie. So yeah, I'm glad to hear that you had a great time with it. I think it's a really cool comedy horror movie as well. A little bit too kind of hawky towards the end, but for most part, a pretty solid movie. Yeah, definitely. If I was them, I wouldn't put out a part two on Michael. The second half of his life is really problematic. Uh, yeah, I mean, to be honest, Jason, again, like I mentioned before, like the first movie, just Michael, right? It's just a celebration of his life. They don't touch into it. Plus, I think I read somewhere the fact that they've got like some legalities in terms of like they can't mention specific things. So if that's the case, then obviously they're not going to be able to, you know, like dive in to that sort of stuff. But I'm sure there's plenty that could touch on in a second part. And I really hope they do bring out a second one. I think with the money it's made, they'd be silly not to, if I'm being quite frank. And plus, it doesn't even go to the point of the end of his life in this. I think it's this movie, I think starts from like 1966, 67, all the way up to 1988. So it goes to show you right there that there's clearly more to be seen, you know. We've got 8 people watching live right now. So hey, thank you everyone. Really, really appreciate it. Again, if you're watching live, if you want to come on, drop me a message on Facebook or Instagram so you can get you on the stream as well. Um, get some guests on here as well. Absolutely. Terrence says, I used to be a huge pro wrestling fan. Cool, man. WWE's in the toilet. In the toilet now, okay. But luckily I grew up when it was peak, like WCW, ECW Attitude Era, back when you had a Crazy Down and Amazing writing. Yeah, I mean, listen, I still watch wrestling now. I still like it, but do I love it? It's tough, right? I love wrestling now, right? For two reasons. Number one, it's kind of reinvigorated me watching the pay-per-views and waiting and like not checking the spoilers and stuff, so that's really great. On the second part of that is my wife Emma a few years ago got into wrestling for the first time. She said, "Hey, I'd like to get into wrestling," right? So I got to show her some wrestling, like teach her who everyone was and like the rivalries and the stories and the angles and all this sort of stuff. So because Emma loves it as well, like we get to watch together and we get to have like um like watch it um together. So like that for me has kind of created a love for the sport at the same time. But I can appreciate that it's not as good as it used to be, and some of the storyline is not great, including as I'll be honest with you, as TG's just mentioned in the latest comment, TKO's made everything green for the wrong reasons. That's a big issue with wrestling right now. Yeah, so TKO, it feels more like a not pay-per-view kind of feel, but more so, hey, how many ads and sponsorships can we chuck in here and give you wrestling? So, for example, the WrestleMania's recently just been, and the event was about 3.5 hours to nearly 4 hours long. The entire wrestling runtime was 80 minutes. The rest of it was ads, sponsorship, and commercials, which is just insane. That's not the way to go, you know. Perez is saying, to be fair, I was behind on it myself. Yeah, I know, right? But hey, listen, you beat it to watching those movies before me, so I still ain't seen anything, right? Third entry's coming soon. Yeah, that's right. Maybe you want to check them out. I think you'd like them. Sorry, I think you'd like them a lot. I think you should give them a watch. Top tier action. I've heard that. Yeah, I've heard they're actually like meant to be pretty good. To be honest, I've not heard. I don't think I've ever seen actually anyone give them like a really bad review. So yeah, bro, thanks for the recommendation. I think I may check them out. I was just saying at the beginning of the stream, my watch tonight I think is going to be Devil Wears Prada. Ready for the second one on Friday, and I think I'm going to drop a review for that as well. So I think that's going to be my next watch in the immediate future. But Extraction, I'll add it to the list though. Listen, I'm getting through that list, so it's good. After 2012, Pro Wrestling Awards not being trash. They don't have the writing and most of the talent of copies made with personalities from old talent. Old school's best. Yeah, old school's absolutely the best, right? It's what you grew up on, you know. But at the same time, right, what would be really interesting is kids and teenagers of nowadays who grew up with this like newer style, you know, Vince McMahon and all this sort of stuff, and then like the current wrestling is they might be like, well, hey, this was peak, right? And then back then was terrible. So it's definitely an interesting perspective and personalities, I think, on certain things, you know. TG is saying about the movie, the comedy for me is up and down the movie because of how on the nose some jokes were, but besides that, it's fine. Yeah, listen, you know, I think nowadays with a comedy movie, I think we need to go back to a time where comedy can be said, right? Now, the thing is in saying that I appreciate you don't want to offend people or you want to kind of, you know, be cautious of that. I get it. But at the end of the day, any movie for that matter, you don't have to watch that movie. It's as simple as that. No one's forcing you to go out or watch it on streaming or put on your TV. Like so, for example, I've seen in the marketing like Scary Movie 6, they've been saying that they don't care who they offend. They're just going to go for comedy, right? And I think that's great. If you like that, great. If you want to give the movie a chance, fantastic. If you decide, hey, look, it may be offensive, I'm not going to check it out, that's fine. No one's telling you to watch that movie, you know? And I think with comedy, especially, you know, it's quite hard to do a comedy nowadays that is genuinely funny and keeps the humor every time you watch it because they have to tread on thin ice. So I can see both sides, to be honest. Um, Current wrestling, you skip most of it. Mm. Back in days, didn't skip anything, even the weekly shows. See, again, man, I'll just add to what I mentioned before. Is with all the sponsorship and adverts and commercials, of course you're going to skip a lot of it because that's what a lot of it is, you know. Pro wrestling's turned into hey, how many wrestlers can we bring back to uplift the weaker down? They can't bring this. I think it just depends how to develop the talent, you know. You're right. Sometimes they do need to bring back the legends as such to get the viewership up. I just think it depends how you build the talent. Like for example, like nowadays, like a Roman Reigns in WWE, like he brings crowds in. Like people want to see him, and they want to see him. Um, you know, they want to see, um, you know, like him, you know, like talk or kick some ass or something, you know. But you know, that's kind of one out of the roster, right? Or like CM Punk and stuff like that. So I think it just depends on how you're going to develop the talents, you know. Um, my friend's cousin said that one of the recent matches was good. I almost tossed him out the win. Not sure what good is. I'd be interested to see what movie you show. Sorry, what match you showed them instead. I'd be interested. The Dewey wrestler release has recently been interesting. I've been one of them because of how involved his figurity and then I'm going to be honest, teacher. Yeah. So with the most recent releases in WWE, I'll just say this. Now, this might be a hot take for a lot of people, but listen, I can only speak how I feel. And if you don't agree, then that's cool. You know, I appreciate we all don't. With the most recent releases, I'm not really bothered by any of them. The only one I found pretty decent out the lot was Kyrie Sane. I think she was pretty good in the ring, but they kind of just eliminated her to being like a background wrestler, a little bit of a jobber at times, and or had a hit behind Oscar and stuff like that. But she's a good, talented wrestler. I just don't think she was given the opportunity. Whereas I'll be honest, Aleister Black and Selena Vega, they've in my eyes have never been good. Like Aleister Black's move set is terrible, and his finishing move is basically just a super kick, but just a spin kick. That's all it is. And I think it's just a really weak finisher. I don't think there's anything cool about him. The aesthetic of him, I don't think's great either. And yeah, I don't miss any of the recent releases at all. I kind of commend them for getting rid of some of the trash. And the only one I would have maybe kept, apart from Kyrie Sane, maybe would have been Uncle Howdy and Eric Rowan. But I would have maybe brought back Braun Strowman and had those as like a Wyatt kind of family. Like that could have been a menacing group and a tough group for anyone to beat. But the booking nowadays, I don't think they would utilize them well. So yeah, I'm going to be honest, TJ. I don't really miss any of the releases. I don't think I'm going to miss any of them. If I'm being quite frank with you. The Wayans brothers are quoted. Yeah, main try to copy their style. Yeah, 100%, 100%. And I'm excited to see what they do, and I'm excited to see like where they go with the new Scary Movie 6. Really looking forward to that one. I want to get either getting to how many they screw over. Someone pulls the blind. Yeah, I mean, listen, that comment. I mean, it's going to divide a lot of people, right? Not saying that I don't agree with you or anything like that, Terence. But what I was going to say is that I think Hollywood treats a lot of actors unfairly, whether any age, race, religion, ethnicities, whatever. I think a lot of people get mistreated. I also think, well, not so much mistreated, but like misused or miscast, or they don't get like the acting push that they should get. Um, and I just think it's a shame. I think there's a lot of great actors out there that you just don't see in big movies, and they're in like littler movies or like indie movies. And unfortunately, they're always the best part, but they just don't seem to get that next push. Alistair Black was originally going to be in the Pat spot. We all know that. Well, to be honest, I'm glad he wasn't in that spot. I don't think Pat should have been in that spot anyway, TG. But uh, Alistair Black being in that spot, yeah, I um, I again, I'm not going to miss him. Let me put it that way. Um, I might be the only ones. Don't worry, Z. I've been cooking Hollywood. Hey, listen. I think we've all had a go at some point. I've got a legend, Elliot. Hey, Elliot, what's going on, man? Good to see you, Mike. Good to see you too, bud. Hope you're doing well. Uh, God, my voice went really high pitched there. Any exciting videos lined up for the coming month of May? Uh, Firstly, great question. And it's good to see you, Elliot. Yeah, I hope you're doing well, bud. Okay, that's a great question. Have I got any videos or exciting videos lined up for May? So I was just saying, Elliot, that I'm going to be doing a review of The Devil Wears Prada, which I'm going to watch for the first time tonight, ready for the new one. I know that's maybe not so much May, right? That's towards the end of the month. But I've got a few like Lego live streams I'm going to do. Like I'm going to build some Lego sets live as well. So that's pretty cool. Probably get that in the next month. Um, I I tell you what, I can't tell as such, but I can kind of give a clue. I'm working on something in the background. I mentioned on the last live stream I was doing, I'm working on a new short movie or like a proper short feature. Got a few ideas cooking in the brain. It's just how I put those together. I don't know. But I would like to get one out very soon. Um, Even if it's just like a silly one, like for example, like the one I did, my last one, if people haven't seen, what shall I eat? That was kind of like just a silly kind of on the fly, like I shot it that day and edited that day and stuff like that. But I enjoyed making it. So yeah, but I think I would like to do more like that. Also in the pipeline, I've got working there a best nachos video in terms of like trying nachos from different cinemas, giving them a ranking, and then saying like, right, these are the best ones. Like this might have the best cheese, this might have the best salsa, the best guac, blah 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 blah. But of course, it depends when I go to cinema, different chains, money as well, right? Um, but in May specifically, I think I might try put out some Back to the Future videos as well. So keep an eye out for that, guys, if you're excited. But thank you for the question, Elliot. It's a great question. Made me really think, actually. Um, uh, Terrence says, I saw the first one and I almost deleted all the numbers of my female. Oh, hold on. Even though I love watching movies, I'd rather. Wow. Okay. Okay, okay. I mean, hey, listen, Terence, you've got to think with this sequel, it's what, like 20 years later now? Times change, people change, directing changes, script changes. So listen, this new one might actually be good, right? It might be a pleasant surprise. It might be terrible, right? But we don't know. We don't know. But Terence went in on fire on that comment. So I enjoyed that. That gave me a chuckle. But I haven't seen it, right? I'm gonna give it a try. I don't mind like a rom-com kind of, people might have said like chick flick and stuff like that. Like I don't mind those kind of movies personally. I actually quite enjoy them. So listen, I'm up to and open to pretty much most movies. I say most because there might be the odd ones I'm like, look, I'm not going there, right? Or nah, like so it's one of those things. Um I'm gonna make a spin-off of The Devil Wears Terrence. I mean, hey, listen, I would be intrigued to see that. Terrence, if you ever go on camera, my friend, I want to see a short movie, The Devil Wears Terrence. I'll be there. First viewer, my friend. I will tune in. That is hilarious. Love that. So funny. But no, yeah, I'm gonna check out the first movie tonight. It's only 8:05 here in the UK, so it's not exactly like too late or anything like that. Just very quickly, guys, check in, see if I've got any. Is it? Oh, it's all good. All right. Yeah, made me laugh. But yeah, anyway, if you guys are watching, what are you guys up to tonight? Have you got any nice plans, or anyone who's watching after the fact? Hope you've had a good weekend. If you're watching this on a Sunday, if you're watching this after the fact, I hope you have like a good work week ahead or a good just week in general ahead, whatever you have planned. And if you've got anything exciting planned, I unfortunately don't. This week is pretty much just work, 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 and overtime. That's pretty much my schedule for the week. Yeah. Hey, listen, gotta earn the pennies, right? So, um, it is just one of those things. Terrence in the movie might be good, but mine not my cup of tea. All right. Hey, fact. In fact, some of my female friends, Terrence, are you gonna watch Devil as far as with us? I told them. Oh, okay. I mean, listen. Uh, wow, man. Listen, Terrence. Don't knock the movie till you try it, my friend, right? I encourage you, if you have a movie pass, right? And I'm saying this for um I'm gonna say this, Terrence, right? If you've got a movie pass where you pay like an AMC pass, right, where you pay so much a month and you go see a few movies a week, go see the sequel. At least you can say you've seen it. Hey, you might even say it's better than the first, or you might say it was even worse. You can even walk out if you wish to walk out, right? But listen, man, get yourself away with friends. You'll remember that experience, Terence. You'll not remember sitting in the house on that random Friday night or Thursday night. The review of Devil Wears Prada 2 would be epic. See, I mean, if Terence did it, absolutely. Um, I'm going to be interested to see the reception. I know it had its premiere in England a few days ago, I'd like to say, and I didn't know that Stanley Tucci is, I think he's married to Emily Blunt's sister. Oh, they're dating. I'm pretty sure they're married, but that was crazy. I did not know that. I was like, wow, small world, right? Or um, I just don't know. I don't know. I just thought that was interesting. Can't believe you signed with them this first time. It's barely recovered. Hey, listen, man. Again, as I've said, you'll remember that movie experience, bad or good. You'll remember it. Um, it'll give you a break from watching Michael for the seventh time. And then you can always go see it the seventh time the week after. But hey, listen, man, why not? Why not, right? You only live once. Go check it out. You might enjoy it. You might even come back and be like, Z, thanks for the recommendation. I took your word and I'm really glad you did. Or you can come roast me in the comments yourself and be like, listen, man, you put me through hell. You know, I would love to see your reaction. I really, really would. Um, that's funny. Um, okay, just waiting. for just while waiting for a few comments coming in. Sorry guys, I don't know if I saw something there on Facebook. No, okay, that's okay. So yeah, one other thing I do have planned, Elliot. Actually, going back to Elliot's question very quickly, one other thing that I do have planned is to um at some point soon do a movie room tour, show you guys like the full inner workings of the movie room, like what's there on the shelves and what that looks like, and how it got from like day one to like how it's kind of looking now. You guys are not going to believe the transformation. This was completely different, like really, really, really different. Even where I've got like my little setup, like here now, you guys can't see this, right? But even this was completely different. Like this table was basically in like now where it's at where I've got my laptop on. It used to be like a sort of like a wardrobe cupboard kind of space, but that was all knocked in and it's now got the table in. Crazy, to be honest with you. I really can't wait to show you guys this. Um Z now I need a therapist because this segment of the stream sent me. Oh man, well I'm sorry, Terence. I can only apologize for that. I really hope not though. I got to mention Scott here. Yo, Scott, what's going on, man? He says, "What's up?" Yeah, I'm doing good, my friend. I hope you're doing well. What's up in terms of general? Yeah, not much really. Just live on a Sunday, well, night. It's 10 past 8 here in the UK. For you guys in America, it's probably mid-afternoon. Like TG saying it's daylight over here. So yeah, it's probably early for you guys. But yeah, just thought I'd jump on, come say hello. Um, come have a chat with you guys as well. Like I've missed going live every now and then and just having like a just basically just spouting off rubbish and just talking about anything and everything really. Um, Terrence saying you're cool. I appreciate you. Listen, man, I really appreciate that, and I'm glad I found out about you through my boy. Listen, Rashad is the legend, right? Rashad's such a cool guy. Love the guy, really, really awesome. And I'm glad that you found my channel through Rashad as well. And listen, I can only give kudos to Rashad. Tip my hat to the guy. Haven't collabed with him in a while. Definitely need to. The Dimension Scott saying I saw Michael last night. It was amazing. Hey, that's awesome, man. Hey, listen, Dimension Scott, I'm really glad to hear that you enjoyed the movie. Terrence has seen it 4 times, by the way, in the chat. Terrence, he's seen it 4 times. I saw it the other day, put a review up on the channel if anyone missed it and want to go check it out at some point. I really enjoyed it. Yeah. I enjoyed the fact that it was a celebration on Michael. I felt like the runtime should have been longer, if I'm being quite frank, and threw a bit more information in there. I felt like it kind of missed like some parts out, or like some parts weren't fully fleshed out, or I felt like it was a little bit rushed as such, as most biopics are, to be honest. But I would have liked a little bit more. But that was kind of my main gripe with the movie, really. So I'm glad that you had a good time with it. Yeah. It is. What's crazy is that Michael, the movie, has been having like a really divisive Rotten Tomatoes score. Let me quickly have a look now. See what it's at, because it's probably changed, right? But for example, the critic score is 38% and the audience score is 97%, which is crazy. So clearly goes to show, um, but yeah, it clearly goes to show that the audience loves it. I really don't get the really low rating of 38%. I think that's extremely harsh, being completely frank with you guys. I don't agree with that whatsoever. Um, and I don't know what they expect, right? Like, are they expecting just the whole movie to go on every controversy of his life? Then really, what kind of movie is that? At the end of the day, these biopics, right? They're usually made and approved by the families and friends or loved ones of that said person or band. They're not going to have a lot of negativity in these biopics because I know that can be a fault, right? It could be a detriment. I would like to see some of that to like get the full picture about that person. But at the same time, if a family member is to approve a biopic of you, they're not going to say, well, hey, put everything controversial and not put a light on this person. They're not going to do that, right? So yeah, it was one of those things. I hope you don't mind my comment because it was long, but T virus Terrence. Yeah, listen, man, I don't mind. I appreciate your comment, Terrence. Forget the critics. They're through I I think with some critics, right? What I'll say is this: each to their own, right? So let me get this out the way first. Each to their own. Everyone has their own opinion. Everyone is entitled to their own opinion, right? I'm not here to tell you guys, right, Michael's the best movie of the year, it's the worst movie of the year, or anything like that. I can only tell you what I think, right? Some people may generally just not like the movie. That's fine, not a problem at all. But I just think 38% is extremely low, personally. Mortal Kombat or Street Fighter, which one is more exciting to you? Mortal Kombat, because Street Fighter I never really played as a kid. I saw like the arcade machines, never really played it. Mortal Kombat played like odd game here or there. I'm not gonna say I'm the biggest Mortal Kombat fan, but that first original movie I didn't mind. I didn't like it, didn't hate it. Probably do need to do a rewatch before the new one comes out. So I'm excited to see the sequel and how that will develop on the story, and will it make the first one even better? Will it be a great sequel? I'm really intrigued. Street Fighter looks like a Saturday Night Live parody. Mortal Kombat actually looks pretty good. And Dennis Scott saying Street Fighter looks entertaining. I can't wait to see Cammy and Chun Li. Yeah, listen, I think a lot of people are going to be big fans of Street Fighter, and they're probably going to be really excited to see the movie. I'm going to be there. I'll be checking it out. I'll be checking out Mortal Kombat too. Um, but yeah, Mortal Kombat, I'm the one that's more exciting for. But listen, Scott, you may be more excited for Street Fighter, and that's really cool, man. It's good to see, and I hope these movies make money. You have an opinion? Yeah, definitely. The critics mostly say the same things. I can see the PS, but don't worry, there are more audiences, so their their thoughts matter more. Yeah, listen, exactly right. The way that movies are going to speak to people is how much money it makes at the box office, right? To give an example, critics could have panned Madam Web, but audience may have gone out to see it, and it could have made 1 billion, right? Obviously, it didn't, but just as an example, in terms of like the critics, what they say is people need to make their own mind up a lot of the time. There would be don't get me wrong, there'll be the odd movie on this channel I will say to you guys after I've seen it, I did not like it and I can't recommend it. Now, I might say to you, I don't recommend you wasting your money, but I can't force you not to go see a movie, nor would I want to, right? But I can only give an opinion to be like, hey, I feel this strongly about this. Don't waste your time, right? Um, but everyone's different. And I think with that, the thing is, the way that Hollywood listens is audiences like myself and everyone in the chat going to see a movie and the box office success, right? If we are financially giving money to the Michael movie, they're going to be like, hey, people like this biopic, let's give them another one. If people support Mortal Kombat 2, Street Fighter, they're going to be like, hey, people really like video game adaptations. Let's make more of them, whether it's a sequel, whether it's a different IP they choose to make, blah, 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 blah. Right? So that's how they learn. Now, if movies don't do well, for example, like I know Disney, of course, are going the sequel route with a lot of movies, like, Zootopia 2, and they bring out obviously Toy Story 5 in June, which I'll be there, right? But they did try original movies. People are saying, where's the originality gone? But they did movies like Strange World and Elemental and stuff like that. But no one really went out to see them. Now, if people don't go out to see them, of course they're going to be like, well, why should we continue keep making original movies if people aren't going to support them? But hey, if we throw out Frozen free, it'll make $1 billion. It'll make a lot of money. So yeah, all I can encourage audiences is that if you want to see a movie, even if it gets bad reviews, go out. If you have the money, go out and spend the money and go buy a movie ticket. Even if you go on a cheaper day like a Monday or a Tuesday. Here in the UK, like Odeon cinemas do movies for like £5, like saver deals, and I think in America it might be Tuesdays. Even if you go see that or a matinee showing, for example, it's still supporting that movie, right? So that's all I can say really on that. Um, See, hold up. Street Fighter not only looks inaccurate, but looks silly in the castings derby. Some of the worst casting for the characters. I've seen cosplayers do a better job. I mean, listen, Hollywood always has some selective casting when it comes to movies. I can't say anything because I've not seen it, so maybe I will be able to agree with you, Terrence, once I have. But for now, I can't comment on that. If I don't like the worst part of two, I'm gonna have to flag your channel as Miracles. Ah, listen, man, don't put that on me, right? I would love to hear your thoughts though. So is Trenchcoat. Yo, hey, what's up? What's going on? I hope you're doing well. I haven't seen you in a while, so I hope you're doing well. Thank you so much for tuning in. Disney has ruined so much. I spend fast. Oh, well, I hope you haven't, Terrence. Man, especially not because of that, right? Um, but yeah, listen, it's a movie's a movie, right? And an IP is gonna, if the IP does well, they're gonna make more movies. I can see this now. Right? I'm gonna call this now, 26th of April, 2026. Toy Story 5 is gonna make a ton of money, probably easy a billion, easily. They're gonna announce a Toy Story 6. Now, will they have all the original voice casts? I don't know, but I'm calling it now. That will get announced at some point, 100%. And I can even imagine it might be even 2029. It's coming, guys. It's coming. Um, they don't put the efforts into IPs. They'd rather focus on agenda and checking boxes. Character and storytelling comes first. So I definitely agree about the characters and storytelling comes first. Yeah, absolutely. Again, I've said on the channel before, and I'll say it again in terms of the first part of that comment there, Terence, is I don't mind diversity in any movie, any TV show, any video game, as long as it's represented well and it makes sense for the story, right? If you're going to make say, for example, if there was an all female movie, but then they made an all male version of the movie, I would question why are we doing that unless it's going to add something to that universe or that first movie they're going to remake and reboot and like have a different vision for it and vice versa, right? Perfect example, the 2016 Ghostbusters. I wasn't opposed to an all female Ghostbusters. Listen, there's parts of that movie I don't think's bad at all, but I think when you're just trying to copy the original movie, you have some of the original cast in stupid roles for the sake of just having them there, right? You're remaking the original movie that was successful. Why? What is the point of doing that, right? Um, Whereas there is genuinely some great all female led movies, right? There's some fantastic gay movies like Love Simon, for example. I really enjoy that. Another movie called Femme on Netflix. There was some parts of it I couldn't watch personally because of like in the subject matter, but besides those parts, the movie overall was actually really good, right? Like there's a lot of great movies. So I just think you're right, like Terrence, it comes down to storytelling, you know? Um and I think nowadays, and the whole thing about AI, right? So yes, I don't think AI should be in movies unless it adds something to the actual movie, right? Or like artwork or thumbnail styles being used with AI. Again, I don't mind that as long as it's done okay. It's not obvious, and it's not the fact that it's taking someone's job, right? Like that's the whole thing with that as well. Um I know older movies used to touch on that sort of stuff, Terence. Yeah, like I know, like I've noticed even watching some older movies now. Wow, okay, like they touched on stuff like that. Again, I think it's all about storytelling, but listen, we're in a different age, different time now. I can appreciate that you've got to be a bit more, you've got to be a little bit more careful on what you say. You've got to be a bit more um subjective or how you tell certain stories. I appreciate that. All I'm asking for is just some good storytelling. If you're gonna have diversity, absolutely, but please just have it make sense, right? And not just for the sake of um and not just for the sake of having the a pick for the sake of just doing that, right? So yeah, listen, I think it's a really really interesting subject, right? Um, Perez is saying, "What's your big?" Oh, okay, that's a great question. What's your biggest hot take for movies of this year so far? Um, Hold on. So, what's your biggest hot take for movies of this year? Right. Okay. Sorry. I was thought you meant like maybe a certain movie, but you just mean movies in general. Okay. Hot take. I don't think there's been more than 5 great movies so far this year. That might be a bit of a hot take, Perez. Yeah. Um, of course, it's different, right? Because I know you guys in the States are just getting I Swear, but for us, that was a 2025 movie, right? End of last year. But yeah, my biggest hot take is there's maybe been about 3 to 5 great movies we've had in the space of 4 months so far. Like, let me go on my letterbox very quickly. Um, and like I'm gonna go on my letterbox. I'm gonna look at the movies I've seen this year so far that came out this year, and I'll tell you guys exactly how many of those movies so far I have an urgency to go back and rewatch. Right. So, just for clarity, that's my letterbox. Link in the description, guys. If you want to follow me on Letterbox, completely free. I would love to follow you guys back, see what movies you watch, and I always look for movies that people watch and see if I can get some recommendations. So for example, right. So this year, um, okay. So far, I would probably go back and rewatch 28, 28 years later, The Bone Temple. Is that a little bit better? Yeah, there we go. So I'd rewatch The Bone Temple. Um, okay, let's have a look. Because I know I'm a bit subjective on rewatches, right? But this is just of 2026 so far. So yes, The Mummy. I'd probably rewatch The Mummy. Now, don't get me wrong. These movies I've just mentioned, those two. I'm not in urgency to rewatch them, but I would probably rewatch those two. And The Drama. So there's 3 movies right there. 3 movies, and out of and besides that, I don't really have an urgency to rewatch the others, right? You've had like Killer Whale, Mercy, Iron Lung, not great movies. Turn to Silent Hill, garbage. Um, Ready or Not 2, pointless sequel, really. The Bride, you know, yeah, I'll leave it there. Um, and yeah, that would be about it, Perez. Yeah, so that's my hot take. Okay, I'm gonna go say this officially. Is so far we've only had 3 great movies in 4 months. Besides that, nah, the rest have been meh at best, Love to know if you guys agree or disagree with that. Solar Trenchcoat says, I think AI should not be used in films. I know they brought back characters back on the past with CGI or AI words get ridiculous. Darren make the film with an AI Anthony Hopkins. So this is a divisive opinion, right? In terms of what I'm about to say. So I agree and disagree, right? And I say this because I agree that if the actor or actress is alive and they want to be in a movie and they want to be cast, they want to do like a live action or voice performance, absolutely no to AI on that, right? Now, however, if the family sign or the actor himself, so for example, Val Kilmer, right? Val Kilmer passed away, rest in peace to Val Kilmer, and he was working on a movie. Now, I believe he signed something, or his family have signed something, whatever, to still appear in that movie, but of course they have to use AI. right? And I know in the past they've also done a where they've had like an actor do a role, but then they've like CG the face of the other actor over them and stuff like that. The thing is with that, with making a film like Darren Aronofsky, sorry, making a film of AI Anthony Hopkins. Now, if Hopkins has signed to do that, then that's his choice. You know, maybe it's a case of having a younger version of him. Maybe it's a case of having him do something like physically out of what he could generally do. So if that's the case, I don't disagree with that because that's his choice, right? Um, but anyway, we've got a guest. We have got someone joining Z Talks right now, and it is my good buddy Jason. Yo, Jason.
Hey, how's it going?
Doing well, my friend. Yeah, how are you?
Doing good?
Awesome, man. Well, listen, well, it's great to have you as well. And of course, Z Talks is, a big part with thanks to Jason as well. So, yeah, thank you for joining. I really appreciate it.
Thank you.
Course. And after the stream, I will update the stream and I'll pop a link for Jason's channel in the description box. For now, if you guys just want to search Jason the Old Millennial on YouTube, subscribe to the channel. He's close to 400.
Yeah. Three more people, I can get to 400.
Okay. Well, listen, we've got 5 watching right now. We can get 3 people. You know. So yeah, listen, I would love to see Jason hit 400 tonight and put out a celebratory post or something.
Yeah.
Jason, quick question. So we had a comment here from Solar Trenchcoat. As you were joining, we were talking about AI in movies, right?
Yeah.
Now, my opinion on AI is yes, I don't think it should be in movies unless it's signed by the actor or like the family.
Yeah.
Like, for example, if Bruce Willis said to his family, "Look, I'd love to be in movies. I can't do it. I'm happy to sign to be like an AI version of me or a CGI version of me in a movie." Do you agree? Do you disagree? Or
Oh yeah, definitely. um yeah, we're getting to a weird time period with the whole AI thing. I don't know if you remember one director, he wanted to make a movie with James Dean in it.
okay,
This might, I don't know, this might have been a couple years ago. I remember, I can't remember who it was, but he's like, it was so weird. He was like, I want to make this movie and put James Dean in like the lead. Of course, Dean's been dead for a while,
right.
for a long time. And we're like, What? Put James Dean?" And it's like, yeah, it's so bizarre. It's like to think that to put dead actors in leads of movies. Um,
Yeah.
and it got shot down, of course. And the guy said, "Oh, I just thought James Dean really would work." And I thought he would just be perfect for the role. And it's like, yeah, you did it because you probably would get people to watch the movie because they'd be like
Mm,
curious, what's it like to watch a movie with a AI James Dean or something. But AI is getting so good. I see so much
mm,
AI now on YouTube, especially.
mm.
Um, I just constantly finding AI stuff, and and my favorite thing to watch right now is Chuck Norris roundhouse kicking people in movies. It's it's so fun and it looks real. I couldn't believe it. I'm watching. I'm like, how are they doing this? It really looks like Chuck Norris roundhouse kicking Darth Vader, and it's
Mm,
insane. I don't know if we could do a whole movie that way. That'd be
mm,
interesting. I mean, if we're it seems like it's possible. Just watching these small clips, I'm like,
mm.
I almost believe it's real. Um,
Yeah.
but I don't know. That's such a crazy idea. I don't know if we should do it though. But
Yeah, it's definitely a divisive and subjective conversation, I guess, you know. The only AI movie I've seen, it was like an animation movie.
uh,
Um, from a little while ago, it was a different version of um um like the Little Mermaid.
yeah,
Um, I know that was like an AI version. Um, I mean, but again, that was a cartoon, right? So it's probably more easier to do, you know. Whereas an actual movie with like AI humans and stuff, I think that would be definitely a bit more tough, you know. Uh,
Yeah,
yeah,
technology is getting better and better though. But
right, right, exactly, exactly. I think it's getting better. I think it's getting a bit more. Well, I mean, they're enhancing it every day to look more realistic, as you said with Chuck Norris. I've seen a few of those myself.
okay,
Um, there's the odd time I think, like I've seen AI clip or like a meme or like a short, and I'm like, wow, that looks really good. And then there's sometimes I'm like, wow, that looks so
yeah,
bad, right?
that's bad.
Right. Oh, we've got another guest joining as well. We've got the legend
Is it
Anthony
Adam?
A.
Oh no,
Perez.
Anthony. All right, Anthony.
What's up,
Perez,
y'all?
what's going on,
What's
brother? How
good?
you doing?
I'm chilling, man. I was just watching. I'm exporting my video as I commented for the Extraction movies, which I'm super late to. But as I was sitting here, I was like, I got a little time. I probably won't be on long. I should add, but I was watching. I was like, you know what? Let me see. I know you mentioned a couple times about somebody hopping on. What's up,
Mm.
Jason? How are you, man?
Good. How are you, Anthony?
I'm chilling, man. I like the shades.
Thanks.
It, I always say that the shades are giving like old school Bret Hart vibes.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
For sure,
yeah.
for sure. No, they got an old school vibe to them. I like them. My grandpa used to rock those, man. My grandpa would
Really?
be, he wore those mofos for a long time in his life, and he would rock them with like a sweet polo with his hair sticking out his like on the top of his chest, and he would and pants hiked up real nice with a big like belt buckle with like a Indian man on it or something. He would my grandpa would walk around with some very Hispanic swag.
Jason, the hitman on the
The
left.
man. The best there ever was, best there ever will be.
Right.
Yeah.
So yeah, so Perez, just very quickly. Well, thanks for joining, bro.
Yeah.
The link to Perez's channel will be in the description box after the stream when I can update this. Just while you know, I think Adam might be joining as well. But if you want to just go first, Perez, if you just want to tell everyone like what content you got coming up. Yeah, I didn't know about your extraction roundup.
Yeah, I remember. I think I had mentioned to you recently that I had seen the Extraction movies for the first time, and it was perfect because it was just around the time that they announced that Extraction 3 was going to be hitting Netflix somewhere in the next couple
Yeah.
years. So I was like, you know what? Let me watch these. And my dad actually was the one. I was on a trip with my family recently, and my dad was like, we were and I had to share a whole hotel room with my dad, probably for the first time in like 10 years that I've been in a hotel room with my pops. But we had just had a nice night. My dad and I were a few drinks into some tequila, and he was like, "Yo, let's throw on Netflix." So the TV on in the hotel had like a Netflix like app, so I logged in, and then
Mm.
Extraction was there at the top, and he was like, "Have you seen that one yet?" And I said, "No, actually, I haven't gotten around to it." He was like, "What? Let's throw it on." So he fell asleep like 30 minutes into the movie, but I watched the rest of it, and it was a good time. I really enjoyed it, and so I finally recently saw the second one, and figured I might as well just make a video on it. But as far as new content for anybody who doesn't watch me or doesn't know who I am, I already dropped a review like everybody else for Michael this week. The new Stranger Things show as well, the animated one. Covered Mother
Yeah.
Mary this week, and at the top of the week, what's up, Adam? How are you, man?
Hello, Mike. Hello, Anthony. Hello,
What
Jason.
what's
Very
up,
Hey,
good.
man? What's
Adam.
up?
It feels it feels like I've just seen you, Jason.
I know. I just saw you. It seems like.
how
Yeah,
how 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 are we all doing?
All good, man.
All
doing
Good.
doing
good.
good.
How are you?
Yep, I'm doing all right. Yep.
Awesome, man. Thanks for joining, and I'll put Adam's link below. But yeah, Perez, carry on. Sorry, you're saying
No,
about.
you're good. You're good, man. It's your show. We got new guests in here. But yeah, just lastly, at the top of the week, I just dropped a collab on my channel with Cody Leach as well. It's like a pretty big
Yeah.
YouTuber, easily my biggest guest
Totally.
I've ever had. Very grateful to him coming on. So yeah, Extraction will be out, and then tomorrow I have an early review
Hey,
dropping for the Sheep Detectives, the new like
Oh yeah.
murder mystery
What is
sheep
that?
movie. So the base premise of it is it's based on a book that came out in the 2000s called Three Bags Full, I believe. And I guess it was like a cult classic in the
Oh,
book
okay.
world at the time. I've never heard of it, to be honest. I just did a little reading on it. But yeah, the base premise is you have Hugh Jackman, who is a shepherd who reads murder mysteries to his sheep every day. And the trailer showcases this is stuff all you can see in the trailer too. He's reading, and he's like right about to reveal who the killer is, and he says, "I'll read the rest to you guys tomorrow." And they're like, "Oh, bummed out." All the sheep can talk to each other. It's one of those classic animals can speak to each other, but nobody else can hear it. And so the next morning they go and find that their shepherd, played by Hugh Jackman, is dead and that he's been murdered. And so they take it upon themselves to try to uncover who the killer is. And it's a silly premise. It's the first live action film for director Kyle Balda, I'm sorry, who did like the last couple like Minion movies and Despicable Me. He also like co-directed the Lorax. So he mainly does animation for Illumination and DreamWorks. But yeah, this is his first live action thing. So it's definitely like a live action cartoon in a lot of ways, especially with the CGI sheep and stuff. I can't say too much more because the embargo lifts tomorrow, but I'll just say I actually enjoyed it more than I thought I would. And it is very cute. I think it touches on some interesting themes about like life and death and what that means, because the sheep don't believe death is real. They think it's just something from the stories that they've read. And they kind of use the sheep as an analogy for like the sheep mentality of like kind of when they go through traumatic things in their life, it's kind of easier to like collectively forget what's happened. And they start to realize they may have been forgetting things over time up to this point already. And some of the sheep maybe have chosen not to forget things that they just haven't told everybody else, hey, you forgot about this, but this did happen to us before, kind of thing. So I think there's actually some interesting like commentary about like life and death and kind of how to embrace that. And there's also a nice story about like an outsider sheep that feels like excluded, and it's about kind of like bringing somebody in. So I actually thought it had like touching messages for kids, but it's also got like super ridiculous elements too, right? Like you got the police officer in the town who's like a complete bumbling idiot and can't figure anything out for himself, just so that the sheep can come and like nudge him in the right direction the whole movie. So it is definitely goofy, but I enjoyed it for what it is. It's not going to be the next Knives Out or anything, but it was a fun whoudunit for what it is.
Yeah, I mean, I saw the trailer for it and I thought, this looks wacky. But we get it on early preview, Adam, this Saturday. Sunday, I think.
Yeah. I saw that there was an early, when I got the email, there was an early screening. There was a press only one, which is the one I attended like 2 weeks ago. And then they had one other one that was this coming Saturday, which I think is going to be like a mix of like people who were invited to see it and then like families and stuff like that. So I wanted to try to see it as early as I could just to kind of have the review out already. But I saw the Soulless trench coat popped in there to say, what's this sheep movie called, please? It's called The Sheep Detective. Based on your picture, it looks like you're going to be a big fan.
I was going to say, Soulless trench coat, I think, will be there day one. Perez,
honestly.
I think.
They got the Blu-ray on pre-order already.
Probably, right? Yeah, I'm actually excited for it, to be fair. Especially as you said, you had a good time with it, And I mean, listen, you got talking sheep in there, right? I mean, come on.
Yeah, and it's got a stacked cast. Like just in the live action department, of course, Hugh Jackman. You got like Emma Thompson in there. Nick Galasine, who's like going to play He-Man very soon. And then in the sheep department, you got like Bryan Cranston, Julia Louis-Dreyfus. You got Patrick Stewart. Like the cast it's pretty stacked, So I thought I enjoyed that a lot.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of the time, especially in like movies, if it's a voice roles, like they've always got a stacked cast nowadays.
Right.
But it's cool to see like this live action stacked cast in the mix with the voice acting.
Right.
As well. We've got another guest as well for Z-Talk's got Patrick as well. Patrick, what's going on, man?
Hey, what's going on, fellas?
Hello. What's up?
Doing good. How's yourself?
Good. I was just doing a little prep for tonight for tonight's ISC show. We're actually stepping out of the ISC circle for a night, and we're going to be talking about Summer of '84, which I had never seen before.
Nice.
Anybody else?
I've heard of that.
I've heard of it, but I've never seen it.
Yeah, what is it?
I have no. Okay, good. I have no idea. All I know is like this is what we're going to talk about this month. I'm like, okay, all right, and so far so good. Are you guys still talking about the? Are you guys still talking? I was away, so are you guys still talking about the Michael Jackson movie? Or is that
We've been talking about that. Yeah, I've seen it. I know Perez has seen it, and I know Adam has seen it as well.
Yeah.
Jason, are you going to get to that one?
Yeah, I was hoping to do it today, but it's starting to storm now. So it's been so stormy here in
Okay.
Kansas. Every time I'm like, oh, I want to go out, it storms. I'm like, I don't want to go out. So
you guys are getting it big time this year.
yeah, we had a tornado close by a couple days ago, Thursday. My mom saw a tornado outside our town, and holy crap! So we all went to the basement.
That's
Wow.
scary.
Nothing.
Yeah, very
Do you guys,
scary.
do you guys get tornadoes in Great Britain, Mike?
No.
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 No, we don't get that. We don't get hurricanes. We might get like really strong winds, or I mean, as Perez saw in
Yeah.
February, right? Like really cold weather, right?
Yeah, which honestly is a welcome change for me. Like
Yeah.
it's
Yeah.
especially now as we're getting into the summer here in Florida. It's just like, dude, some days
Oh.
are just brutal. You get onto your car and like the first 15 minutes of a drive is like your car is still like essentially melting on the inside. I mean, you've been here before for the summer, so it's it's not the most pleasant thing in the world, especially for you guys who
No.
like you're like having a heat stroke at 75 degrees Fahrenheit over there, and it's like, dude, here I am. You've come here. I remember that one time we were hanging out in the summer, and it was like 90 degrees, and you were like dying. But so was I, to be fair.
Yeah.
Now,
You guys get heat on like another level to like in England. Yeah,
Right? Yeah.
100%.
now,
Like,
Florida though, did it happen? Does it still happen? Because I haven't been there in years, but does it still rain at least once a day?
Yeah, so it's not every day, but it's definitely often. Yeah, it's now that we're
Uh,
getting into. It's always funny. People come here, and I live in the Central Florida area, so it's like everybody comes for like Mickey Mouse and the Universal and all that stuff. And I always feel bad for the families that spend hundreds or thousands of dollars to come here for this during the summer. I think it's the worst time of the year to come. Every time it's
mhm.
like
Right.
Yep.
it's so hot, but it's also so humid, and it rains often. It's also our hurricane season. So it's like you never know what you're gonna get. And the amount of times families come out here, and it's just like they're at Disney World and they only have that day in that park, and they
Oh
have
my
to
God.
like enjoy it while they're just being rained out. Meanwhile, like it'll start raining here, and my wife and I are like, all right, let's go home because we have annual passes. We'll be at Disney World. We're like, yeah, let's get out of here.
It's always best to go to those kind of parks during the off season. Never go
sure,
during
for sure.
off season. Always go for the off.
Yeah.
But also
Where's the
just like
store?
there's not a lot of dead seasons here now as much, I
No.
find, like especially post pandemic. They've kind of just like made it so it's so there's always something going on in Central Florida. So there's always like some event, then the holidays and the people that roll over into like spring break and all that kind of stuff. Like it's never ending. So there's not a lot of dead seasons, but coming in the summer is just a nightmare because it's like the weather is so unpredictable. I always think like spring or the fall time is usually around the time that it's like the nicest to come. However, it's hot no matter what time you get. We maybe get like 2 cold weeks all year.
bro, I remember adding to that, right? I remember going to last time I went to Florida in 2022, right? I went to Animal Kingdom, and it was scorching hot day outside, right? Really beautiful day. I was like, oh, perfect, right? A lot of outdoor of this theme park, and like we were having a really great time. Then, as you said, like that once a day when you get that torrential rain, bro, that shit rained down.
It's bad.
Yeah, I expected that in the UK. I thought it would rain in the UK every day like that.
Well, I mean, Adam can probably comment on this.
Mhm.
Like, it rains pretty often here,
Yeah, almost every day it feels like.
and
Yeah.
it's either like a shower or we get like just a really downfall, but like not the downfall like Florida gets. Like to the point where in Florida, say at that point when I went to Animal Kingdom, when it rained that much, I didn't have like an umbrella, didn't have one of those ponchos, and I just got soaked. Like my shoes were soaked, my socks were like you could wring them out with that much water and stuff. It's crazy, you guys, weather.
Yeah, no, it's
No,
gnarly because then also it's hot, and so once it's done raining, like you're breathing in essentially gallons of water every time you take a breath because of how humid it is. And then like I'm sure
Right.
you can remember those moments where like now the sun is back out and it's cooking the water on the floor, and it's like
Yes.
kind of like you just feel that radiation of hot sweat, like your ankles, your knees, everything's sweaty. Yeah, on really bad days, it can be rough.
I like
Yeah.
I like it. I like those days where you go out to the beach and you look to one side and it's beautiful blue and it's just like, it's like the postcards, blue. The water is perfect. I mean, you can see forever. And then you turn your head to the left, and all of a sudden it's like the hand of God is coming with you. The clouds are all dark and they're coming racing towards you. It's a real. I've never seen anything like that in my life than that in Florida. Perfect weather, hot, nice. Look to the other side. It's like the end of the world.
Yeah, there's a video. I lost it at some point. I think I deleted it on a previous phone. But my wife and I were headed to the beach,
Mm.
to the beach near the Tampa, Sarasota area. And I remember that we were on the highway over like on an overpass and like over the ocean. And we looked to one side, like, and it was completely sunny, like beautiful, like the picturesque Florida day. And the other side was black, raining, just like terrible. I was like, we were like directly in the middle of absolute madness. I almost want to say that, Mike, when you were here and I was driving with you, it started downpouring one time when we were driving. And I told you I was
Yeah.
going to outrun the rain. And I do that all the time. Because it really will be so like focused in an area. And so I told him, I was like, watch this. And there was obviously I drove safe enough, but I was speeding a little bit to get us out of the rain because I could see the end of the clouds. I was like, if I get out of this, and I did it. I drove a little quicker, get out of this torrential downpour, and suddenly it was just like sunny. It was all behind us, and it was perfect and beautiful. It's the best.
Mhm.
Mike
I
probably thought
remember.
you were Mike probably thought you were the Flash after that.
I think Mike thought a lot of things on some of those drives. I was like, we were driving around. I was showing him some like shady spots like around like the areas I used to live. I was like,
Mhm.
that's where I used to buy things I shouldn't have bought from somebody on a creepy alley.
The big question I have though, when you were driving with Mike, did you hit 88 miles per hour?
I don't think I ever got that fast. I don't think the traffic allowed us to, but I definitely
No.
I know one thing for sure is that everywhere we went, especially here in in the States, it's a very common thing, but like especially here in Central Florida, everything's kind of far apart from each other. I'm so used to it, I don't think about it. But like a
Yeah.
lot of times if I'm driving somewhere, it's like a 45-minute to an hour drive, if not more. That's like, a lot for our pals
Yeah.
over in the
Yeah.
UK. So every time we got in the car, Mike was like, well, how long is the drive going to be? I go, we probably got like 50 minutes. He goes, 50 minutes. And then we get there to do something for a little bit. And he's like, all right, now we're going to go somewhere else. He's like, how long's the drive? I was like, an hour and 15. He's like, what?
Oh my gosh. That's forever for him.
Honestly.
It's just crazy the difference of that. Yeah, like in England, like that for us is like a really long drive, right? Like I'm like an hour, really? You guys, it's like you do that just to go to your local grocery store, right?
Yeah, I mean, pretty much. Thankfully for me, I live right in front of my grocery store now, so it's been very nice in
Yeah.
that front. But yeah, I mean, anytime I go to any of my early press screenings, that I attend every week, it's the theater that they traditionally do the early screenings at is at least 45 minutes, 50 minutes. So like, I mean, mind you, part of that is traffic, you know what I mean? But it is also a bit of a distance. Like everything is a distance. Even if when you've come here, and you've done like Disney World, if you go to Universal, it's like 45 minutes from Disney. Like you think they're so close to each other because it's like Orlando, but Orlando's ginormous. Same with Miami,
Yeah.
where I grew up.
No, it is, yeah. And I know, like when I've been in the past, like me and my family used to stay in a villa all the time. So when we did, the villas were always located miles from anywhere, right? Like to get to like one place or the other. So
Right.
yeah,
Yeah, and
definitely.
when you guys were here, like the place you guys chose to stay, like the Airbnb, was quite a distance from everything. I know you were like 45 minutes to an hour from every park and everything you wanted to do.
But that's
Pretty
not
much.
necessarily a bad. It's not necessarily a bad thing when it's busy season,
No.
because
sure.
the traffic closer to the event is so much. It's hideous. Going to Disneyland in California was just holy shit. Yeah, you had to leave when it was still dark if you wanted to get there in a decent time. The
Right.
park, because if you decide, hey, let's go to Disneyland, and you rolled in and I could try to get in at 1 or 2. Yeah, good luck.
Right,
I
yeah.
know when I went to LA just gone in February, like me and Emma went to Disney and we didn't like rent a car or anything because I was like I refuse to drive in LA. I'm going to drive in Florida in October though, so I'm going to be curious how I'm going to do with like driving on the other side. That's going to be weird. Um,
Yeah.
but to get to Disney, it was 2 hour bus ride, which was insane.
Oh man.
I know,
2 hour
right?
bus ride is crazy, dude. I'm
Oh
surprised you
my
went.
god.
I
Yeah,
mean, I know you guys were probably trying to save money, but like, damn, bro, a Uber would have probably been, a little bit more time efficient. But
Yeah, but they would have
yeah,
charged him an arm and a,
but
he would
that's
they would have
true.
charged him the amount of the ticket to Disneyland on Uber.
You're not wrong.
Yeah.
You're not wrong.
no, it's
Yeah.
true. It's true. I know the bus ride was $1.50 each for 2 hours. Bear in mind, which
Right.
is insanely cheap.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
Oh,
that's
of
it.
course. I mean,
That's
but
what
you're
it
also
is.
dealing with the LA loonies. Like it's
Plenty
you
of
weren't.
Oh my
plenty of
god! Don't
those.
try, wait a minute. All right, wait a minute. You're not trying to talk. You're not trying to talk trash about California, and you're in Florida, are you?
I mean, listen. We got loonies out here too. I'm gonna tell you this. I ain't getting on the bus over here either.
I mean, dude, I've lived in California for 35 years. I would
Yeah.
still take California. I would still take California over Florida. It's a whole amusement park all in itself.
You're not
As soon as
wrong.
you cross over,
Listen, I agree.
from Alabama and Georgia, it's Disneyland for the whole
It
state.
it's a weird state, man. Like unlike a lot of other states that are like, maybe like typically one thing, you know what I mean? Or like for the most part, if you go near the top half of Florida, it's really country. It's like the one part of Florida that's a little bit more in line with, Georgia and Alabama and those states. You go in the middle, it's like just this weird hodgepodge. It's so theme parkified. It's like everybody's a little bit more. I don't know. It's a very weird spot. And then growing up where I did down in Miami, I mean, it's just Cubans and Puerto Ricans and black folk and Filipino folk, just like and Haitians everywhere, Jamaicans everywhere. It's like this big.
Mhm.
Everybody's different down there. I also grew up in some shady spots down in Miami, so it's definitely
Yeah.
a wild. I know what you're saying. Trust me when I say I think my home state's a little. We're a little
Well, it's
separate.
one of the big three, right? Because when it comes down to the craziest states in America, see, you guys don't have this in the UK, but we have this here in America. The three craziest states, and it all depends which day you name them, who's number one. It's definitely California, it's definitely Florida, and it's definitely for damn sure it's going to be Texas, with Ohio being
Texas.
fourth. Ohio is actually catching up to the other three, but those three states are the craziest in America.
Yeah, they're pretty wild.
Wow.
They're pretty wild. I'd put
Okay.
New York up there too,
I
but
thought New York you were gonna say, but yeah.
Yeah, I was thinking that.
You don't really get that much from. I mean, for being in having the biggest city in the country, it's
Mhm.
really not as. You don't hear anything nearly the same level as you do about the other three.
yeah,
You
I think
really don't.
weirder. There's weirder and crazier people in those other three states for sure. And listen, I'm in one of them. I can't. It's not like it hasn't rubbed off on me in my own way, but like they literally have the phrase "Florida man" from my state just because of
Yeah.
how
Type
crazy
in
the
Florida
people in
man
my
at
state are.
Google. Type in Florida man at Google, Mike, and just be ready to be
going
taken
to.
for a ride.
I'm going to. Well, I want to know with all this talk. Jason, what is Kansas like? I'm intrigued.
It's flatlands, lots of farming, uh, not as many people, a lot more, like I said, because there's a lot of farm fields, so it's a lot more spread out, I think. We don't really
Okay.
have any big cities. Wichita is our big city, and it's like 450,000 people.
Mhm.
Because Kansas City is, Missouri mostly. That's the big city, but that's in Missouri. But um, I don't know. I think we got a reputation of being a pretty friendly state. I think that's what I like. We're the Midwest. I don't know.
Relatively
I
calm.
like Kansas. I think it's a good place. But
Yeah, relatively calm. Okay. And I've also just, by the way,
yeah,
Googled Florida man. Yeah, that's interesting.
Yeah, Florida man's crazy, man. I mean, like obviously it's just like a blanket term for just like the insanity of people, but it's like it can go from everything to like and you see it all the time. Like I've been places where I'm just walking around and there's somebody just like doing something crazy, you know what I mean? Like jumping off a bridge or tackling like a wrestling a gator, or all the way down to like that crazy dude like over 10 years ago that sniffed bath salts and bit that guy's face off. I'm sure you guys remember. I don't know if you
Oh, I
guys
remember
remember that,
that.
but
Yeah.
there was that Miami zombie. If
Yeah.
you type in Miami zombie man, there's like a whole
Oh, God.
this guy like sniffed bath salts and he literally ate a guy's face off. Like, and there's video
Oh
of it
my
and everything.
gosh.
What
Um,
the
Yeah.
heck?
Florida's crazy. And then they also have the Florida Man Games in Central Florida, which is like groups of people that they get together to just do like crazy Florida Man situations. I have a few friends who participate in the Florida Man Games every year who are a lot more Florida Man than me.
I thought it was sort of like you walked around and you were trying to you try to get points for every time you saw something crazy in Florida, like, and then if you spotted it, whoever spotted it first got the point.
I mean, maybe there's something like that, but I know there's actually like a game, like a little contest that they do where like people can go in groups, and I think one of my friends, his group was called like the Cooter Squad or something like that, and they went out there dressed up in booty shorts and were doing like a bunch of crazy Florida Man things.
And they're probably considered normal.
Yeah,
Well,
like that's a perfect
what about
example.
London, Mike? What about London, Mike? I mean, London's got their fair share of craziness, don't they?
Yep. We're like, so more so in England, and Adam can maybe attest to this as well. It's more like in every city you go, you'll have like a good part of the city, and then you'll have like a rough part of the city, and you'll have it where you'll have like certain areas to be like, I'm not going to go there because rough people hang around that area, and then you'll have places that's just like I would say like my street's kind of like, and like kind of areas calm. Adam, your area's probably calm as well, I'm guessing.
As long as that train track's not down.
Yeah.
I've got a train track that's down every 5 minutes.
Right.
Yeah.
But then there'd be other parts that just be like the wrong crowd hang around in, But it's like that anywhere, though. You're gonna have places like that, really. I do want to quickly just throw in a quick movie question we got from Drew. Firstly, he said, "Hey, everyone, what's up? Yo, Drew, what's going on, man?" He says, question for everyone: what do you think is the best Daniel Craig Bond movie? He says for him, he would go Skyfall.
That's my favorite as well.
Yeah, Skyfall's a good one. I'd probably go like Skyfall or Casino Royale, personally.
Yeah, I would probably go Casino Royale for me.
Yeah, Casino Royale to me is the best one.
Which one had Anna de Armas in it?
That was one of the last one, maybe.
Yeah, it was not the last.
I'm gonna go with that one.
I don't blame you at all, sir.
Nah.
That is a one.
But who is going to be the next Bond?
Who knows? It's going to be interesting.
That's the question.
It's going to be you, Mike.
No. I'm too old and not in shape to do that, Adam. I'm sorry.
So I have a question for you, Mike. And you guys all too. I think the casting, what confuses people with the casting is like when they were talking about having Idris Elba play Bond, and people were all going like, no, because he's black. He's not. I think what people don't understand is the term 007. It's not the man itself. It's just the man who comes in and takes the spot. Anybody could be 007.
Right.
They just move up the chain. It's like James Bond is not a 007. He just is a 007. And probably before he was a 008. So he goes from 008 because we saw that with Sean Bean. I don't think people understand that the 007 is just it's not him. It's just the role that he's playing. And I think because people don't understand that, I think that's one of the reasons why they have such a hard time casting the role, is because people don't understand that. It's like, well, you can't cast Idris. He's black. Well, that's the whole point. You never know. It's not James Bond. It's just he is who he is. He's not that person. Like James Bond's real name is not James Bond. His birth name is not James Bond. That's the identity he assumes when he takes over the 007 role.
Yeah,
What
I
do you
agree.
guys think?
Yeah.
I would like to see Idris Elba take it over. Like I think if there was an actor of a different race that I would love to see to do it would be him for sure. Like I think that he's got everything that the James Bond character has. Now, do we need to go in that direction? Whatever if they choose to just go a more traditional James Bond route. I think there's a lot of great actors. I've seen people talk, and if they wanted to go young, because now Prime owns the rights, so there's kind of like, are we going to be moving into a completely new era of possibly like TV shows and movies that kind of connecting to it, the same way that we've seen with Marvel or Star Wars or all these other franchises? Is that possibly going to be a route we go? Who knows? But if they do, I've seen talk about like possibly getting like Tom Holland in. I don't know that I would want that, but I do think that he could play the role for a long time.
Yeah.
And
Yeah, I think people. I just couldn't see him as. I couldn't see him as James Bond.
it would be weird. I can give you that.
He's still. I
Yeah.
mean, I know he's 27, but he's in real time. But he looks like he's 17. And it'd be a hard time.
Yes.
It would be hard to see him. Whipping off James Bond. Things as looking like Spider-Man. It's just like.
It could be interesting though to see him like kind of like to your point earlier about like the different ranks, to see him earn that 007 like name, you know what I mean? And it kind of
I think
start
so
as like
too.
that could be good, and have like Idris Elba be the 007 until James Bond becomes the 007. I think that could be cool.
I mean, if Holland, like, I mean, it's not his fault he looks the way he looks. It's not his fault, obviously. But if he got up to 30 and got a little bit looked a little bit more adultish, it was terrible I'm saying this, then I would totally agree with that. He'd be a great 007, and the fact that, because that's the great thing about the series is that your current James Bond ages out, not a problem. You retire him, bring in a younger. It's not replacing. You're not replacing the man who's left. You're just filling out the hole. You're filling out the hole that he left. When he retired or what have you. So it's like you say, well, James Bond got killed. Well, no, he didn't. The man who played James Bond as the 007, he got killed. Here comes the next. It's the next man in line or a woman.
Right.
I hope they go in a different direction maybe when they start a new James Bond. It felt like the Daniel Craig James Bond was going in a more serious route, as almost like as a different direction than the what's his name, Pierce Brosnan was maybe more comical and a little more, I don't know, and it felt like Daniel Craig was just so serious. I didn't like it because I just like it didn't have the charm as the other Bonds to me. So I don't know, that's just me. I kind of like it to go into a little more I don't know what to say, not a comedy, but I mean I just want him to be not as serious, if that makes sense.
I still think it to be you, Mike.
I thought Brosnan. I tell you the truth. I thought Brosnan. I thought he was damn good. I mean,
I thought he was real good,
really good, and he wasn't. Yeah, because there's a lot of moments in his films where he wasn't playing around. I mean, it was all business for him, all business.
I think, as Perez was saying,
I like a more serious Bond.
Okay.
I think, as Perez was saying, with Amazon owning the rights to Bond now, they're gonna hire someone probably younger and do it to the point like Daniel Craig be like, sign a 3-picture deal or a 4-picture deal or whatever the case would be. And I don't think they would cast anyone over 30. Personally, I could be wrong. Obviously, we don't know, but I'd be surprised if they did, because like the Daniel Craig ones, I know it's different, but they spent years between each movie before they got released. I can't see Amazon doing like one, like say a movie in 2027 and 2028 to 2029, right? There'd be like 2-3 year gap between them easily. I think Tom Hiddleston, I think he would be a great Bond as well, but I don't know. Idris Elba, yeah, I think Idris would be good as well. And Tom Holland.
They could also just go the route of like a no name, you know what I mean? I think that a lot of times for me, that tends to be like the best route for like established characters. You know what I mean? Like I think anytime it's like any franchise that has iconic characters, it's almost always best when you get, I think it depends, right? Like, I think comic book movies are maybe like the one area where like, oh, a big name attached to like a big character is kind of cool. But otherwise, with like a character like James Bond, where it's, sometimes that James Bond, them playing James Bond is what's kind of made,
Yeah.
made it what it is. Or made their career what it is, I should say. It is one of those things where it's like, maybe bring in a new actor that can kind of define themselves with, 007.
I agree. I think you're right.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, no problem,
Yeah,
Adam.
I'll
No
get
problem at
going.
all, bud. But thank you for joining, man. I appreciate it. We're going to be
Yeah.
wrapping up soon here anyway, but
Yeah.
appreciate it, dude.
Take care, guys.
Later, Adam.
Yeah.
You too,
Yeah,
Adam.
you too.
Bye.
See you, man.
Bye.
I know a while ago on Z Talks, I had this conversation of, I can't remember who said it, but we were talking about James Bond, about having a movie, and as Perez was saying, like having like some no names, for example, in there, but having a movie of being like, right, who's going to get the mantle of James Bond? They go through like, I don't know, some MI missions, or they go through skills or whatever. Then whoever wins the overall thing will become the 007. But then we're also saying on that same one, the person who got second place takes it really vengefully, and then they become the villain in the next movie. And at least you've got a character arc of being like, right, this person's won the contest, but then someone's jealousy, and then they become the villain and want to take down the organization because they didn't get picked as the winner. I think they need to do something different.
I think different is going to be what they need to do.
I was thinking they could do a TV show, 10 episodes, right? And it's the training of the 007.
Yeah.
And then his first mission is the movie.
Interesting, yeah.
And I think with Amazon, it's probably the best thing to do it because, I mean, how many people have Amazon Prime, right? And even if it's just for the shopping experience of just having Amazon Prime, and I think you'd have way more audience on that as well. Plus, you could also do it in terms of like a short version of that series as a, is it OVA they call them? Of like a series, or like when they kind of condense this series, but they make it into like a one big kind of 2-hour picture or something.
Well, I mean, we have. I mean, we do. Well, I don't know how. I mean, I was thinking from your point of view, from the UK side of things. I think they could do between 1 to 10 1-hour episodes, introduce the Bond, the world that is in, plus all the supporting characters that you'd be seeing in the film itself. Then go through the training, and then maybe 6 months after the series ends, or probably a year after the series ends, that's when you debut the next Bond. I think that would be an interesting concept. Plus, it allows people to get to know the Bond better too, instead of just like, okay, we're gonna pick Joe Smith, and next thing you know, he's on screen, and we're like, who's this guy? I mean, that is the risk of doing a no name. It's like, who is he? I don't know anything about him. But with a TV series, we would get to know who he is. By the time he comes for that first movie, the public knows the actor, and it wouldn't be such a jarring thing.
Yeah, it begs the question too, though. Like, can and will 007 continue to be as big as he has been in the past in the modern day? Because I think like even like the more recent like Daniel Craig movies had the benefit that like his start as 007 started so long ago now at this point. So it does kind of feel like people got to like, there's people who were in high school or younger when he started as 007 who are now adults or whatever that, were watching his final film. So there was like just in that timeline of movies, there was like fans that were able to follow over the course of time. So it does beg the question, like, will 007 have that same modern day appeal and staying power for a brand new iteration? It's going to be interesting.
I certainly hope so, because I love the Bond girls.
I feel that.
Well, yeah, for sure.
Love I love Brosnan as 007, but boy, I sure hated him when he killed Sophie and World's Not Enough. I was just like, I was like, I was so disappointed. It's like I never miss. It's like couldn't he have done it just this one time? But
Yeah, I think it's interesting though, Perez, like what you're saying, though, if it has the modern appeal of nowadays, like James Bond, because of all these like action movies we get now, and you have like John Wick, you have like the Nobody, the first
Yeah.
and second movie, and all these like practical effects and stunt choreography. Would the likes of like a James Bond hold up to that? I mean, of course, you've got the fan base who will turn out and be there day one to check out James Bond, right? And even people are like older generations be like, oh, it's a new James Bond. Okay, let's go to the cinema, or let's go put it on Amazon Prime. Let's put it on Prime, or whatever the case should be. But I do wonder, firstly, how much budget they would put into it, and secondly, you're right, if people would turn out for that.
Yeah,
it would
don't know.
be.
and are they going
I
to put
guess
them all in theaters? You know, like
I guess that's
or
the reason why doing the series, the like doing the prequel series on TV, at least it would help build it up because you're right. I mean, back in the day when whenever there was a new Bond, that was like big news at one time. I mean, that was big.
Hmm.
I remember when Roger Moore took over for Sean Connery, it was big, and then when then Dalton took over, it was big. I mean, it was like massive. Now I don't really know if that would be the case if they,
Mhm.
because there's so much content out there, and it's almost to the point like if you're going to try to keep James Bond relevant, you sort of got to act now. I don't think it's a good idea to sit there and wait too long. I'm going to wait another 5 years, then we'll do a Bond movie. I don't think that's a smart play. In fact, I don't think that's a smart play for any franchise. I think 5 years is probably the minimum, the maximum you can go without bringing in another movie because our attention span as it is,
yeah,
people just don't care.
and the only way that it works out that way is if it's a franchise that's like really massive and hasn't been around for a long time. Um, where it's like, okay, like the excitement is there. But yeah, it is tough, I mean, even now we're what 6, 7 years removed from the Rise of Skywalker. We're getting the first ever Star
Yeah.
Wars movie on the big screen since with The
Yeah.
Mandalorian, and we'll see how that does in theaters.
That's
Because
gonna crush it.
yeah, I think it'll do
That movie's
well.
gonna
I'm
crush
excited to
it.
see
Yeah.
it. I love me some Star Wars. Anybody who
Yeah.
knows me knows that. Wearing a Star Wars shirt right now. But
Sick.
we'll see. But it does beg the question. You know what I mean? Like there are not as many like young kids getting into Star Wars today in the same way that there were,
Mhm.
when I was a kid, and when kids of the original trilogy were kids, so it'll be interesting to see.
Yeah.
I think a lot of the adults are probably holding their breath too because the last trilogy was just so poorly received by the fandom. It was just you got I think they had the perfect series to bring them back in the Mandalorian. Thank God, because I don't know, without the Mandalorian, where is Star Wars really at today? I mean, coming off that last trilogy, I don't think it's in a very good place at all. But I think
Mm.
the Mandalorian has brought back the passion and the love of the series, and that's why I think one of the reasons why I think that the Mandalorian will do very well this year.
Yeah, I mean, I hope it
Especially.
does for sure. I think it's been I think Star Wars has been thriving mainly in animation, really, in the last decade or
Yeah.
so. The animated department is where the highest ratings, the highest fan
Yeah. Yeah.
acceptance, and even the Mandalorian is an extension of all that. If you see the new trailers, multiple characters from the animated
Mhm.
shows that are making live action debuts with the Mandalorian, and that show in general has been an extension of all of the animated shows. And even right now on Disney Plus, we have the Darth Maul show that's airing to like I think
Mhm.
it hit Rotten Tomatoes with 100% initially. So the love for Star Wars is definitely still there, but of course, I would argue that most people who watch Star Wars watch live action stuff, and the animated
Mhm.
stuff is a little bit more tends to lean a little bit more into people who are like really devoted to the series versus people who kind of just like watch the next thing that comes out. But yeah, I think it goes without saying that they're probably going to be watching how Mandalorian does for upcoming films, because even next week or next year we get Starfighter with Ryan Gosling, so we'll see how that plans
Mhm.
out.
Is that based off the Rogue Squadron?
I think it's gonna play off of it. I don't think it's based on it.
Agreed.
From what I've read, it's a brand new original story that takes place after the original trilogy, but is not gonna be like playing with any recognizable characters. It's meant to kind of be like its own
Okay.
I
thing.
actually collected that whole book line when it came out, Rogue
Yeah,
Squadron. I
yeah,
collected all the books. That was a
same.
great series.
Yeah,
And
agreed.
I love the fact that they, when I saw it, they brought back Wedge and Teely's, and I was like, oh, this is hella cool because Wedge has been there from the beginning. I mean, he's been there all in all the big movies, and
Right.
it was just it was great to see. I hope that's what the case is because I would be very interested in seeing that.
Yeah, I know it's gonna be like an original story, but I'm sure that they'll play with some things. Yeah, but yeah, I agree. Those books are fantastic. I even love the like the older like Rogue Squadron games and stuff like that as well. Like I've always wanted like a fighter pilot Star Wars movie. So the fact that we're getting one that's like going to be a little more low key is kind of exciting to me.
And it's something
Agreed.
different. It's something different. Mandalorian's different. I was reading just online there that the Mandalorian budget was 166 million. But then of course you've got marketing, right, which is usually like what, double that budget probably.
Right.
So you're looking about 320, maybe 330, kind of.
Yeah. And I'm sure
Um,
I'm honestly sure that this movie is going to make its money back. Will it make it back all
Yeah.
in theaters? I hope so. As a Star Wars fan, I want to see that happen.
Yeah.
But on top of that as well, I mean, Grogu sells merch like a motherfucker. So like, like he is gonna be on every piece of merch that they can make, like
Mhm.
sell
Yeah.
T-shirts for triple the cost of what they made it.
They've already probably. I mean, I don't believe a lot of these movies when they talk about the budget. I've talked about this before, but there's when you sit there and say the movie costs 170 million dollars plus promotion. It's like for Star Wars, you don't need to promote that. You don't need to spend it. If you feel like you have to spend $30 million to promote Star Wars, your ass needs to be fired because Star Wars sells itself. It's one of those things where you don't need to spend that much money getting it out there. People are going to be coming to you to get it out there for you. All these toys and licenses. I mean, they probably already made half their budget back already with just the licensing deals.
I agree and
for sure.
disagree, really. I think with Star Wars, Patrick, like I agree. If you put Star Wars out there, people's there. But I think with The Mandalorian, like not everyone's seen a TV show because it's on Disney Plus, right? Not everyone has Disney. They've probably heard of it, right? Or like they've been to maybe Disneyland parks and seen like the attractions and posters and merch and stuff like that. Or they might have seen it on like TikTok, like Grogu memes and whatever. But I don't know about you guys in the States, but like here in the UK, it's been marketed heavily. Like it's on like bus like adverts,
Yeah,
it's on like TV spots, movies and the trailers. They've announced like the
Mhm.
popcorn buckets of like the 8080 and like I think it's like Pedro hanging off like the side of it. Obviously the Mandalorian.
right.
There's been loads of marketing for it, but you're right, Patrick. Like you think it's Star Wars, people will be there because it's Star Wars. But I've noticed they've put on the title Star Wars, Mandalorian and Grogu, whereas I think originally, I could be wrong. I think it just said Mandalorian and Grogu.
Yeah, the movie is called Mandalorian and Grogu, but all the marketing has always had like the Star Wars on there just to let
Yeah.
people know.
Oh,
But
right.
but yeah, I mean, I've seen the heavy marketing here too. Like now, on one hand, my social media feed is completely tailored to my obsession with Star Wars. So of course, I see everything Star Wars. If Star Wars ever drops something at all, every time I open like Facebook or Instagram, it's the first thing that pops up in my feed. If there's ever
Right.
anything new that drops. But also living in the Central Florida area near Disney World, I also see the buses, the billboards everywhere. So, but they didn't have to sell me. I knew I've had the date marked down since the day they announced it. But which I think is what Patrick's getting at, right? Like the diehards are going to
Right.
be there.
Oh
Right.
yeah,
Either way.
it's already going to sell itself. You just say Star Wars, it's going to sell itself.
I'm just curious to see how it does for like for the casual fans. Like Mike was saying, like I know Mike, you haven't watched all of the Mandalorian. I think you just said like you watched like season 1. I don't know if you've seen any of
Yeah.
it. But it's like, yeah, I mean, a lot has happened since because to really, and we'll see I'm sure the story you'll be able to be something that you can follow on its own. But I've heard it's meant to be like a big conclusion of sorts of the Mandalorian TV show, like that it seems like this
Okay.
is going to kind of like bring the show to a head. the third season was a bit divisive with people, and it is my least favorite season, but I still enjoyed it for the parts that were really good. And it's going to be interesting to see how people react to, like, we're in a place now, and I talk to people about it all the time. Marvel's been in the same place. Like, I'm sure with Avengers Doomsday, there's going to be so many characters that people are like, who is this guy? Because I only watched a couple that I gave a shit about, and I didn't watch half the TV shows. So now I'm like lost on who all these characters are. With Star Wars, are kind of there too. Like if you watch The Mandalorian, it's done a good job of keeping the story simple enough to follow, but like there's so many characters and stuff from the animated stuff that I know not everybody know. And if you see the marketing and the poster for this new one, you got Zeb, is a purple alien on screen. He is one of the main characters of Star Wars Rebels, one of the animated shows that ran for 4 seasons. So like, while I'm sure you don't need Star Wars Rebels 100% to appreciate him just being a character in the movie, there's a lot more of that going on where it's like, are they going to start leaving fans behind, or fans going to feel left behind? Is it going to be structured in a way where you can be like, oh, I didn't need Rebels, but now I want Rebels? It'll be interesting.
I think it's really going to be interesting to see how, now that Disney laid off over 1,000 people, including their whole media division, to the last man, and it's going to be very interesting because before you built you put movies like this out to generate physical releases of films, toys, popcorn cups. God, how did that ever go on thing? Things like that. But Disney has managed to, they said that they're no longer going to do that. So like when it comes out, a lot of times people will sit there and watch a movie and go like, wow, this is the first time I've seen anything like this. What else is there? And they want to collect it for themselves. Now, I wonder if Disney's going to allow themselves to release on the home market their backlog, so people can get, because not everybody wants to do streaming, nor that they want to pay for streaming every month. So I wonder if Disney's going to like try to reverse some of his track and put Star Wars back in physical media, back on the shelves.
Well, they actually have released, I think in the last 2 years, they released all of the Disney Plus Star Wars shows on physical media. Like, they released like 4K like steel books for all of them, and so I think as of right now you can get like The Mandalorian and Ahsoka and Obi-Wan Kenobi. I don't know. I know Rebels is also all on physical media, and the Clone Wars. I don't know if the Bad Batch are. So not absolutely everything, but I know most of the live action Star Wars stuff and Star Wars stuff in general on Disney Plus, but it's not everything. So to your point, like Marvel, there's like a million shows, and there's stuff that they've just removed altogether, like the Willow series that like they removed from Disney Plus, like literally 2 months after it premiered on the platform, which I don't think I'll ever get over that.
Wow, I didn't realize they'd removed that.
Yeah. It was like they had like this. It was right around that time that the actor strikes were happening, and that was part of the whole thing, was that a bunch of movies and stuff that were part of like Disney's initial push, like if they just weren't getting the views, I think in order to like not pay residuals, they just removed them from the platform. I know there was like a movie with Bryan Cranston, like based on a true story, where he like works with a gorilla that they didn't have, or that they removed from the platform, and Bryan Cranston was like, hey, everybody watch this movie before it vanishes into the ether. And yeah, with Willow, I remember like I sat my wife down, showed her Willow. She had never seen it before, and then we watched the show, and like literally 2 months later they like announced that like season 2 was canceled, which they left it open for season 2. Season 2 was canceled, and that it was no longer going to be available to watch on the platform, and it never got a physical release. So it's like any Willow fans that enjoyed the season, like myself, just shit out of luck.
Yeah, that's terrible.
Insane. I don't agree with that.
I don't agree with that at all either.
No, I know with the physical media, they released like pretty much all the Star Wars shows. They released some of the early Marvel shows like WandaVision, Loki, and stuff like that on Steelbook. But I think at that point it's when Disney were releasing their original movies like Strange Worlds, and they weren't performing well.
Right.
So they thought, well, we need something to tie us over in like media department. Let's just give the physical media fans who collect everything our shows, right?
But now they take that away. Now they destroyed that department. They laid off the entire department. There's no more physical. There's no more physical media
It's
department for
crazy.
Disney. They're all gone.
I saw that, but at the same time, surely these new releases they put out, like for example, like Toy Story 5, right? Like when that eventually leaves cinema, they'll have a physical release of that somewhere.
Yeah.
You know what? I don't
Right.
know. Honestly, I don't know. I don't. It's come to the point now where it's like I don't know how they're going to do that, because how are
I
they
mean,
going to get it out
they still release their like their big releases on physical media. Usually right
I think
after or before they hit streaming. Like with Avatar, I want to say it hit like streaming like 2 months before it hit Disney Plus. Or like it hit like physical media and stuff. But yeah, it's what it
Yeah.
is though. Is like they're now releasing them through third party. But it's like how long are those third parties
Mhm.
going to be around? That's the real tough
I
part.
mean, that's the other question. It's like it would have been one thing if they would have just got rid of,
Mhm.
if they would have got rid of the physical media. Okay, I get that, but are you going to turn around and do what Warner Brothers did and then do strictly online, made on demand? Okay, I can see that because it's worked. That model's worked for Warner's for years, but now but that now you're starting to hear that not even Warner Brothers archives is up. A state. They don't know if they're gonna keep that around or they're gonna they're gonna absorb it and end that as well. If
Mhm.
they end made on demand, that I mean the nails are already in the coffin. But if they end up eliminating made on demand, or you can't even ask to make, I just want one copy. Can I get that for $11? If they eliminate that on all the major studios, that truly will probably be the end of physical media as we know it.
Hmm.
I
Yeah,
think so.
it's a shame, and the fact that certain stores are already like not selling physical media. Also,
No.
on the flip side of with movies, I think that there's with streaming, it does create this thing where people are like, I really want to get my hands on on movies because of the vanishing of it. So I think we're kind of seeing an uptick of people wanting to build, and maybe not in the same way as before, but where we're
Mhm.
seeing, I think, a big struggle on another side of physical media is in the world of gaming. Like back in the day, games like held value, and as like a lifelong gamer, nowadays you don't. You know what I mean? Like it's like the games don't hold any value at all, like a physical copy. Back in the day, like even now, like if you still have like an old like NES or Sega Genesis like cartridge or like an N64 or even some of the older like PlayStation 1, PlayStation 2 games like in their original case and stuff, they're worth something, but the sad part is like traditionally you need the hardware to also play them. But then with games
Mhm.
now, it's like if you buy the physical disc, you're not even buying, you're buying a key. Like you put it in your
Yeah,
console and then you need Wi-Fi in order for it to install the game
Yes.
still into your
Yes.
yeah,
console. You can't even just throw the disc in and start playing anymore. Like so
No.
no,
it's
No.
and the games hold zero value. So you can buy a brand new game at $70 and then go to GameStop the next day trying to sell it. And they're like, this will be $6 in return. It's like what? Like,
right.
which has
It's
pushed
true.
people to like digital purchases. I know I'm part of it. I play on Xbox
Yeah.
primarily. Xbox Game Pass just kind of has me in a place now where like I just pay my monthly premium and I can,
Hmm.
install and uninstall and play games on their Netflix like video game service as much as possible. But the downside is then I don't own most of the games I play. And if I
Yeah.
do, I own them on a digital library where they can probably just remove those
Yep.
games from me somewhere down the line and I'll have
And we,
no say in the matter. It's
yep, and we
crazy.
already seen that over and over where they've done that. They've just eliminated, like Voodoo's gone and some other ones. I mean, I remember Apple. I remember their iPod came out. Everybody was, using their iPods. It was, saying they come up there and say, "Yeah, we're not supporting that anymore." And you had people like spent hundreds, tens of thousands of dollars uploading, to the cloud, and all of a sudden it's like, "Yeah, we're not supporting that anymore." And then you're like,
Hmm.
"Well, who's paying me back for everything that I bought? Not us." You know,
Mhm.
All right.
it's I think physical media. I saw this on Christian Hanna's channel the other day, and he asked the question: Is will the movies hold value? Will collecting movies, will they hold value? Not right away. I mean, it all depends. See how Disney plays out, see how Paramount plays out, and
Mhm.
Sony. If those guys get out of the physical media game, altogether, and just go to digital, then yes, I do think that we'll start right soon away, start seeing increase in value. It'll take 3 or 4 years before it really hits, but once it does, because every year attrition takes how many thousands, tens of thousands movies get thrown in the garbage. I don't want this. No, and I can't resell to anybody. You should be able to take your go to GameStop and like, hey, I like turn in some movies. Yeah, that'd be like 10 cents a piece or worse. They don't even accept them anymore.
Right.
And and so they just like, oh, I'm not taking these back. So trying to find a place to donate, trying to do a yard sale. People aren't. I mean, I go yard sailing and I look at people and they're offering, they're asking $5 for a Blu-ray. It's like $5 for a disc. And I'm like, and I said this one time to somebody too. There was $5 for DVD and $7 for Blu-ray at a yard sale, and I said, I thought you were trying to get rid of these. And he goes, we are. It's not at those prices. Yeah.
Not at
So
all.
Yeah.
But I guess in that essence, they're hoping that people don't shop around for movies, right? They just like decide, oh, I'm going to go to a yard sale randomly, and oh, this DVD's $5. That's a good deal, right? But whereas, as you say, like Patrick, if anyone doesn't know him, Patrick usually on his channel goes to like the library once a week, and he usually gets movies for a quarter.
Yeah.
Which you get some like even brand new movies on Blu-ray you get for a quarter, which is crazy.
Wow.
Yeah, I love
but
my
of course,
library.
yeah. So I think with physical media, I think Patrick, to kind of round this out, because we're going to sign off in a second, but to round it out, I think certain movies will hold value in the future, but right now, no, to an
Right.
extent, because you can still get them unless they go out of print, for example, or like they won the first prints and they made a limited batch of them, or whatever the case should be. But nowadays, movie studios, what they're doing at the minute for physical media collectors is releasing older movies, but in like collector's editions. So they're upscaling them into 4K. They're doing a collector's edition where you get like a nice box, maybe a steel book, maybe some art cards or whatever the case should be. And that is like your highest format for that movie. And I feel like those ones in future will be worth it because they're at the highest peak quality. You're going to get like 4K, like Blu-ray 4K. And they're probably not going to reprint that movie again because you got the highest quality. But like a DVD of like, I don't know, Meet the Parents, for example, that was mass produced in millions. I don't think that will be worth much in the future.
No, that will take
Right.
years for that movie to become anything because you're right. They printed so many of them. I mean, you go
Right.
outside and see it. It's once you. It's like, to me, it's like if Walmart stops selling physical media altogether, that's when you're gonna start seeing the spike. If Walmart gets out of the movie business, selling movies, then you're gonna start seeing the spike. It'll start right there. People will, even though there's millions of copies out there, you just have to look for them. But people are gonna react to that. They're gonna react by hoarding. You're gonna go out there and grab anything they can get, because they feel like there's nowhere, they're not gonna be able to find it anywhere. You will, and you'll be able to get it for a good price if you do a little bit of hunting for it. But
Yeah.
but it'll be very interesting to see. It'll be very interesting to see how many of the new releases are. Like I heard from Disney saying that they still might do some limited releases around Christmas time, because that's the only time they'll actually put it out there, because people want stuff for Christmas presents. But otherwise, what I'm hearing is very, it's going to be limited for the new releases and no more releases from anything backlog.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised. We wouldn't. Generally, we'll have to just wait and see what happens. But I do want to let you guys know. I do want to thank Jason, Patrick, Adam, and Perez for joining me on Z Talks. I have put their links in the description. I've been editing that while we've been talking. But just before I click the button to sign out, Jason, if you want to go first and just plug what you got coming up on your channel.
Well, see, I just put out a deep dive part 2 on the band Kansas. So I got part 3 I need to work on. Then I don't know if I have anything planned in the near future, but I want to start working on my top 100 favorite films of the the first part of the century, where the first 25 years of the 2000s. That's when I've got the list. I just need to start shooting the videos on that. So I think that's something that's probably going to be coming up pretty soon. And then I got just so many other ideas that who knows, I'll just pop one in every once in a while.
Nice, man. Yeah. Some really interesting rankings, and that will be interesting to see what's your top 100 from 2025 as well. So definitely check Jason out. Perez will probably have a review for Revenge's Doomsday next week, so keep an eye on his channel for that. But no, Perez, you obviously don't early about Extraction review roundup coming soon.
Yeah, actually, I dropped it while we were talking. It was already. I was just waiting for it to finish.
I saw
uploading.
it.
Yeah, I was just waiting for it to finish uploading while we were talking, and I had like the description box and everything already like in a copy and paste format to just pop it in there. I had already made the thumbnail too, so while you guys were talking, I just made it live. But I am actually in about an hour or so. I'm going to be heading over to see Over Your Dead Body with Jason Segel and Tamara Weaving. I had an early screening for it a week ago, but they like sent me the email for it like literally the night before. They apologized for it. They told me but I was like, they gave me no time to like really like plan to make it there. So unfortunately, I missed it. And then I also missed my Michael screening at the top of the week because of work. So I watched Michael when I got to the theater on Friday night, but I knew with today being off, I wanted to try to see Over Your Dead Body. And review tomorrow dropping, as I already said, for The Sheep Detectives. That drops at 10 a.m. when the embargo lifts. And then tomorrow night, I am seeing The Devil Wears Prada 2. So expect that review out in the next like 2 days.
Nice, bro. Yeah, I look forward to those reviews. And after this, I'm gonna have a shower and then I'm gonna watch The Devil's Wear Prada, the first one, because I've never seen it, and then I'm gonna drop a review being like, right. Well, I
still need to see that too. I still need to see that one too.
Well, it looks like both of us are going to be playing catch up, Patrick, on that one.
Yeah.
I'll probably, I was going to say you can expect to see that review. That will be the last video I'll be dropping for probably about a week or so. I'll drop one being like, watch Devil's Wear Prada for the first time and prep for the sequel kind of thing. So that's my idea. And Patrick, so you can definitely check out Perez's channel. A lot of awesome reviews. If you want early reviews, that is the guy right there to check out. And Patrick, finally, what have you got coming up?
I got a couple of interviews coming up, including one with Owen Llewellyn, who stars in a UK slasher that I'm very high on, the R.I.P. Man. He plays the R.I.P. Man, and Alden Pick, and he'll be coming to visit us in May, which I cannot wait to talk to him. And we are currently on a international horror movie tour on Dollar Theater. We've been to Italy, Australia, South Korea, and we're going to Germany next week. So that's nice. What's going on my channel. Yeah, having a lot of fun with that too.
No, that's awesome. And if you want to see those kind of videos from Patrick and library hauls every week, definitely check him out in the link below. But
library haul every Tuesday.
100%. But I want to thank you guys for coming on anyway, instead of me rambling on for 2 hours by myself. So I appreciate it. Thank you guys for watching live or after the fact, and we will see you in the next one. So bye, guys.
Peace.